Hello and welcome to another episode of the podcast.
Currently known as. Haha, just kidding.
Currently known as Talkin Sports with Two Dudes in the Basement.
Talkin
Formerly known as...
It doesn't matter what it was formerly known as because you only care about what it's known as now.
Because it's a lot harder to say.
Yeah.
Formerly known as...
Nope.
Too hard to say. And not get tongue-tied. So we've taken a big break because real life has happened.
Real life.
And I thought about getting on here, and I was like, well, I can just do it, because you were busy. I was like, well, I could just do it, and then I was like, no, I'm pretty sure I get sick of myself talking for the whole time.
Yeah. No. See, and then there's the other thing is, if this is how it goes. If I wasn't busy, he was busy, and vice versa. So that's pretty much what's happened over the last few weeks. The last month and a half, I think, is what it's been. Dang.
And ever since then, our way too early predictions for rankings for college football have gone to crap.
There's been two teams? Oh no, sorry, there's only
for
one
me,
team.
there's Notre Dame, and that's my only one.
Clemson. I think I threw Clemson in there, didn't I?
I don't know if it was the first time or the second time, but you did have Clemson in there.
I don't remember. It's been so long.
Oh, I guess I got Michigan State still in the running.
Michigan State's still in the running. Except for that, for some reason, it's rivalry week, but Michigan isn't playing Michigan State.
No, because Ohio State is their biggest rival.
I guess that's true. Once again, new to college football, people.
So
give me a break.
If you hear us go erupt with cheer or oh or something like that, we're watching the Ohio State Michigan game right now.
Yeah, it's going on right now in front of us, and so
it's on mute though.
It's on mute, so that'll tell you the time. It's actually 10 o'clock, 10:15.
Yeah.
On November the 28th.
Yeah.
2 days after Thanksgiving, 1 day after the Black Friday shopping disaster debacle.
I don't even do that.
Except for I don't
have money to do it, but
it was
even
actually,
when I did have money, I don't do Black Friday.
Black Friday actually was Black Thursday because there wasn't anybody out on Black Friday. Well, at least in my area of the woods.
Want to hear a stupid thing?
No.
Some people, too bad. So some people are like, should we change the name from Black Friday because it's racist?
How?
I was like, it's not talking about black as like a color of skin. They're talking about black as in the black, not in the red. So you're not in debt because Black Friday is meant for businesses to get out of debt.
No, that's pretty funny.
I know. I'm just like, dude, you don't even know what
ignorance.
This is for, man.
Gotta love the ignorance in the world.
It's nothing to do with African Americans. Other than they go help buy money, just like everyone else at Walmart.
Yeah, right. No, for sure.
I saw those, and I was just like, you know what? I don't need to do that. I'll just do Cyber Monday.
Yeah, but the thing is, Walmart kind of was on the. Why are we talking about? Doesn't matter.
You talked about it.
I know I did because I went, and it was stupid. That I went.
Not stupid that you went because
I actually ended up.
You didn't have to fight anybody.
I didn't have to fight nobody because everybody went on Thursday.
But we could talk about something that is going to hurt you a lot more than it's going to hurt me right now.
What's that? The cold?
How the Utes have fallen. No, I mean I hate the cold.
Yeah. No, so the Utes did fall. I mean, they've lost the last 3 games that they've played.
The last time we did this podcast, they were playing USC.
Mm-hmm.
And we kept getting really mad about how their quarterback kept throwing behind the receiver over patterns that go over the middle.
This is correct.
And you can't do that. You can't do that in high school. You can't even do that at Pee Wee because at the very least at Pee Wee it's a pass defense, right? And at college it's an interception. College and above it's an interception.
Yes.
And that's what Utah really had going for him is he limited his mistakes when they were playing well.
He did. Yeah.
And Booker is their MVP.
Booker, and he was injured.
Yeah, he's done.
He was injured when they play. Yeah, I guess he's done. I'm pretty sure he's not done. He could probably play if he wanted to, but he's just getting ready for the NFL.
Why not at this point?
Right.
I mean, and the rumor is there could be a holy war sooner rather than later.
Even though next year is the next holy war for Utah fans.
2016? 17. 16.
It's next year.
Okay, I always thought it was 2017, but it's 2016. Everyone tells me, they always correct me, and I was like,
It's
every
next
time
year.
I'm like, I'm pretty sure, and I just never put it together that I've been told that multiple times, I guess.
You just because you don't listen, it goes in one ear and out the other because you don't really want that to happen. Just plain, I
No,
don't know.
dude, that is the worst thing that happened to Utah college football, not Utah University, the whole state in general. Because now rivalry week, this should be the Holy War week for us,
Yeah,
but now it's BYU versus USU, Utah State.
it's true.
Which I go to Utah State, and good for me if I could beat up the big brother, which Utah State considers BYU big brother, but BYU don't consider.
That was almost a good segue into the NFL, but we're not talking NFL yet, so
No.
we'll do that later on.
I'm sorry, man.
No, it's cool. It was a great segue.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
I'll bring it up if I can remember.
All right. Cool.
If my ADHD don't take over, which means no promises.
No promises.
So, I mean, I'm for the state of Utah college athletics in general.
It's good for the state?
What?
Because it's good for the state, or
because it's good for the state. I really don't have a dog in any fight.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, in fact, I like my favorite college football teams. Probably is Michigan State, to be honest with you, just because they play a pro system, or Sanford, which we'll talk about later, because they play a pro system,
Yeah.
and guys that come from there, actually, quarterbacks that come from there actually do stuff.
Do stuff.
In the NFL, there's not the spread quarterback that that has 1 or 2 years of hype like Kaepernick and RG3, and then just falls off the map.
Yeah.
But
The long-lasting quarterbacks that make a great impact and are Pro Bowlers for multiple years and win the MVPs and win Super Bowls.
And so, the Holy War, the Las Vegas Bowl, that might happen.
So those of
Maybe.
you who are not familiar with the Holy War, that is the University of Utah versus BYU. People also call the Notre Dame BYU game of the Holy War as well.
Oh, because Catholics, yeah.
Catholics and Mormons.
Yeah, Catholics and Mormons. This is Mormon on Mormon violence, though.
It really is.
So it's a lot worse.
There's so many fights at this. Anyway, whatever. It's a thing.
It's fun to watch.
It's fun to watch.
So, my thing was, I heard the director or who's ever putting together the Las Vegas Bowl, chairman, whatever, right? And he's already reached out to BYU, and BYU has already accepted an invite. And he reached out to University of Utah, and they haven't sent anything. However, the Las Vegas Bowl chairman wants it to be somebody from the Pac-12 South. So it will be someone from Pac-12 South.
If it's anybody but Utah, it won't be a neutral field. So
That's not going to be like a home game for both teams.
it will be a home game. It'll be a home game if it's anybody from the South because if it's any of the Arizona teams, it's just one state across.
Arizona BYU be a good game.
Anybody from Southern California, it's one state across.
Yeah, so they don't have to drive very far.
And it's all closer than any of the Utah. But anyway,
And if it's the Holy War, maybe we can see some juicy tabloids of another BYU guy getting in trouble for being at a strip club drinking alcohol.
and throwing out that F-bomb.
I don't know if people even remember that. Was that 2 years ago, wasn't it?
I think it was a couple years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, that punter almost got jacked. That's why he said, ooh.
And there's a flag because they're gonna say that
Roughing the
anyway,
kicker?
Roughing the kicker.
Oh, man. They could call that a lot, and they don't.
I know because they just let the kids play. It's all right.
In the NFL, too, though.
All right. So we can talk some top 25 then.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
We're talking about chaos. This is the general theme of this podcast because
Because we can restore chaos and order, right?
I'm an agent of chaos.
Sorry, that was a quote from the former president George W. Bush.
Oh, we can form order out of chaos or something like that.
He's tried to say something like that, but he said we can restore chaos and order. Or
Oh, I could restore chaos.
Some-
My
yeah.
life is chaotic. That's what I do. I don't even try.
See, yeah. No, anyway, looking at that, I don't think that was actually from. Well, first of all, somebody tripped. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. It looked a lot worse in real
time?
Real time rather than slow motion. So, one thing I want to talk about, I've been waiting to talk about this all college football season.
Okay.
Ohio State has fallen, baby.
They've fallen. They have fallen to the ground. Down to the ground. They're actually to the 8th spot in the playoff conference rankings.
I'm glad they fell
It's about time.
because they were not the number 1 team.
But you saw once they lost one game and they dropped to 8. So
They were not the number 1 team. They're not the number 2 team.
they were just waiting for them to lose so that they could kick them out because they knew that they weren't the best team in the college football.
Their defense is really good.
Mm-hmm. Ezekiel Elliott's really good.
He's really good. Everything else, not so.
Is mediocre. And that anyway, I'm going to stop watching the game because I'm just going to keep talking
Not
about it.
so much. You know who else crapped their pants?
Who else crapped their pants? Some Tigers?
Louisiana State.
Yeah, some Tigers.
Yeah.
Straight, just they got pants and they didn't know, and then they couldn't come back from it.
They caged that Tiger to Alabama.
Oh yeah. How many more points can we come up with?
They had a tiger by the tail.
They aren't so great anymore. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the. We'll stop with that one because that was good.
Anyway, yeah, no, it's kind of frustrating because who is the coach going to get fired? Isn't it Les Miles?
Yeah, this is his last game today, or this is his last year.
I heard that the boosters are trying to buy him out.
Well, where's he gonna go?
Oh, it doesn't matter, but wherever he goes, he's going to take all the recruits that he was going to bring.
Is he gonna go to college or is he gonna go NFL? He could be a Lions coach.
I don't know. Ask Chip Kelly how that worked out for him this year.
He could be a Lions coach. Well, yeah, we'll get to that too. There's segues, man. Segues for days. Usually we have to really struggle to get a segue.
It's okay. Lots have happened and we haven't really talked about things, so it's good.
He could be a Dolphins coach.
He could be a Dolphins coach, but I think that the Dolphins are. Anyway, we'll talk about.
He could be an Eagles coach.
He's not gonna be an Eagles coach.
What you think they're gonna go? Never mind. Well, sorry.
We'll talk about that.
Dumpster. Hashtag dumpster fire for that.
Hashtag dumpster fire.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. So, who, in your opinion?
My opinion doesn't matter.
Well, for this podcast, it does. So, this is the only time my opinion matters. So, who, in your opinion, is a buster that right now is maybe out of the top 4 that you could see coming in?
Well, it's Stanford.
Michigan
State.
They got to win today, though. They got to win
State.
out. Well, Michigan State too.
I was gonna say if Baylor won last night, they would have gone in.
TCU busted their rep.
But TCU won, so that's not happening.
So now it's gonna be Oklahoma or Oklahoma State.
No. Here's the thing, though.
Is gonna be the Big 12 champion.
Is Iowa gonna stay in, or are they gonna lose? Who do they play tonight? Today.
They already played. They played Nebraska yesterday and won.
Oh, okay. So then they're in. I don't think they're gonna get out because they're perfect.
Okay, hypothetically, Oklahoma State has to play.
They're way too far. I think they're way too far out of contention to get into this.
You think so?
I think so. They're.
But they could be the Big 12 champion.
But they're number 13. I don't think it's going to be that big of a jump for them to jump that.
What's Oklahoma 8?
Oklahoma's.
I guess it depends what one you look at.
Yeah, Oklahoma's. I think 7. I don't think that.
No.
Even.
I think Oklahoma State's going to win today.
Oklahoma State's going to win today, but I don't think that. Or is Oklahoma in the top? Or do they? Because I know they were in the top 3 at one point in time.
Alabama's up there now. There's
Clemson,
2.
Clemson,
Alabama.
Iowa.
Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is 5.
Yeah.
So I think Oklahoma's 3. So yeah, maybe. I lied. Maybe.
They might.
Maybe if they beat Oklahoma, maybe.
I don't know, man. All I know is their defensive line. That dude, I can't remember his name, but he lives in the backfield. Their tackle.
I don't know.
Defensive tackle. He's always chilling there.
Oh yeah, okay. I remember when we watched them play Texas.
Yeah, he's always back there.
Okay.
All day long.
All day, every day. It's like he's part of the offensive line instead of the defensive line, right?
He's like, hey man, we still going to that party at that frat house after? Like, who is this guy again? Who are you?
Okay. But anyway, so maybe
he's taking the other team's cheerleaders on dates.
Maybe if OK State wins, there's a good possibility.
All right.
But then again, you gotta take into effect all the other guys that are around that area, like the Floridas of the world.
Oh yeah, Florida's playing lights out lately.
Yeah, Florida. Who else is right there now? But then again,
Notre Dame is.
Notre Dame strength of schedule though is a big thing as well, and so
Notre Dame in the beginning of the season played some not very good teams. So that's not going to help them out a lot.
It's true.
But they've been super injured. So
And the reason why they're out right now and Iowa's in is because they didn't play as good of a game that they could have against Boston College, which is kind of silly.
in Iowa though, for the first half it was looking rough. Nebraska played pretty well defense, and then Iowa got a pick six. Their linebacker got a pick six and took it all the way to the house. He tipped it to himself.
Ooh, that was a good run. That's a touchdown.
Yep, that is a touchdown. Is that Cardell Jones or is that Barrett?
That's
Ohio State quarterback.
Ohio State. Was it a quarterback?
He's a QB keeper. He rushed it.
Oh, was it
a
a keeper?
touchdown.
Okay.
Yeah.
He kind of just pushed his way
JT
into there
Barrett.
too. That was a nice run.
JT Barrett.
And at the end of the first quarter, we've got Ohio State 7 or 6 at the moment.
Oh, and that speaking of the games that happened last night, that TCU Baylor game was a fun one to watch. It went to double overtime.
It was 14-14 at halftime. What did it end up being at the end?
Oh, I can't even remember now.
28-21?
Let me see. Oh, it was wet. Actually, yeah, you probably already looked that up. I'll talk about the game for a second.
It's okay.
It was wet. Oh, your phone's over here? Sorry, man. It was wet, and so like there was a lot of fumbles to be had on both sides. Running backs and quarterbacks were fumbling that business. It was hard for them to throw it. That's why the first half was 14-14, right?
These two teams that are always scoring 70 points a game.
And last year, Baylor upset TCU in their playoff contention, or in their playoff quest, right?
And knocked them both out. So
yeah, like both burst both bubbles with that.
if I can't get in, you can't get in.
You tell on me, I tell on you. That's ninja code. You know, we're both in trouble now. So,
Why am I still in the NFL? Okay.
but Seth Russell was the quarterback from Baylor, injured.
Broken neck.
Done. Vertebrae something in his neck, right? Josh Doxson, wide receiver, TCU, done. So that was about as even as it was going to get. And I thought Baylor had a better defense. And
Baylor does have a better defense.
traditionally, yeah, but Boykin ran. TCU quarterback Boykin ran for it.
What am I doing?
So, I mean, it was a good game. It was fun to watch. It was exciting. Both teams have a hate for each other. Both teams really trying to win. It was super competitive. It was like a game that the old football fan likes, right? Oh, there's snow on the field. Who cares? Get out there, play that game. Oh, it's raining. Put on some gloves, son. Get out there, right? None of these playing in the dome. None of this type of stuff.
Get your long sleeves on.
Yeah.
Call it good.
Yeah, exactly.
TCU won 28-21 in double overtime.
Double overtime. And Boykin threw for a 1-yard touchdown in one overtime, and then he ran for kept it and ran for a touchdown in the second overtime, and then the TCU defense stopped him. So, I mean, it was a fun game. It was a good bracket buster. You know, if you don't have a dog in the fight, it's pretty good.
And those are always good, especially those defensive games. I mean, it's come down to in all sports where it's just offense.
And these two teams are known for that.
I know
this season.
And so to watch them play a defensive game, it's kind of silly and kind of ironic to the point where it's like, are you trying to show everybody that you can be a defensive team, or is it just, I don't know why it would be ironic, but anyway, I don't think
it is ironic because it was like last year how the Golden State Warriors actually had a defense.
Yeah.
And that's what got them over the hump, you know.
That's true.
They actually were top 5 statistically in defense, which they've always been able to score. But anyway, the only guy that I really think stood out on either team on defensively for me this year, well, actually, I'll say one from each team, right?
Okay.
You have Oakman for Baylor.
Which is what?
Defensive end.
Defensive end.
He reminds me of Julius Peppers.
Okay.
And then so he's more raw talent though. He needs to get a little bit more technique going, but he'll sure that up. I mean, Julius Peppers was like that coming out of college too, but he just beast. And then on the TCU side, it's Freeze, and he's a linebacker. Other than those two, not a whole lot of defense going on.
Mm-hmm.
So
But yeah, so
for the season anyway. Other than yesterday.
Yeah, but
but it's easy to play defense when they can't hang on to the football.
Yeah, but like I said, they're and that's good for teams that are like that because they have some defensive players, even though they recruit mostly offensive players because they're offensive dominant teams. Just like for example, well, bring it back to Utah. Utah, they only recruit defensive players and not offensive players, and so
they get running backs every once in a while.
They get running backs every once in a while. Well, actually, most of the time they have a running back, and then they also have the defense.
They have a receiver every once in a while, but defense is what they're known for.
Defense is, I mean, that's what they put in the NFL is defense.
That is. Defensive line, cornerbacks, safeties.
Yeah.
No linebackers, a little bit,
but not as.
You got Paul Kruger, right?
Paul Kruger,
who plays outside linebacker / defensive end.
But actually, he went in as a safety, didn't he?
I don't know what he went in as.
I'm pretty sure
I thought he was bigger than that, but
I think Paul Kruger went in as a safety, and then he ended up being an outside linebacker.
I know Weddle is their only guy that never changed position, other than the defensive line guys. Because those guys hardly ever change position. Because you are what you are when you're that big at that point.
Nate Orchard went in as a outside linebacker, but he's a defensive. He played defensive end. But anyway, and then Eric Rowe last night, or Thursday night. I feel bad for that guy. But anyway, we'll talk about him in a second when we talk about Philadelphia.
Sorry, my phone just got blowed up.
Bzz, 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 bzz. Don't worry, that's not static on the radio. It's just...
Dude, no one be trying to talk to me when I'm not busy. Ain't no one trying to talk to me, except for you, right? That's it. When I get busy, it's like all of a sudden people are like, hey, I'm going to mess up a podcast. Now, if I get SWAT teamed, I'm going to be madder than a hornet's nest all stirred up. I was going to say something else, but I decided to...
No. Let's keep it graphic.
Yeah.
Language.
Get 'em.
Rated M for mature. For language.
So...
vulgarity. Bzz, bzz. All right. Enough of that. I'm not going to give you crap no more for that. So what are we talking about now? We're talking about... So here, who do you think... So if...
Oh, here we go. Who could sneak in from the outside and break a bracket, right?
Yeah.
Could sneak into the 3rd or 4th spot. We already said Notre Dame, maybe.
Notre Dame, Stanford.
Stanford could.
Oklahoma State,
maybe.
Anybody else? Because we know that Alabama's going to be in there. We know that Clemson's going to be in there. Unless Clemson loses.
They won't lose. Iowa.
Unless those
teams lose,
there. They'll be in there.
Iowa going to be in there.
Iowa's in there. So there's only really...
Oh, Michigan State, maybe.
Technically, there's only one... Yeah, okay.
Could sneak in.
So there's...
Michigan State, Oklahoma State, Notre Dame, at a super long shot, Florida.
Yeah.
That's going to be unlikely. But it could happen.
Yeah, Stanford's playing. So Stanford...
Because Florida has that cornerback, Vernon Hargraves. Mm-hmm. He might be the best corner to come out in the last 2 years at least. And there's some good ones that come out too. Mm-hmm. And we're going to transition to that. Speaking of cornerbacks, when your Carolina Panthers picked this guy, I told you he's a great guy, but man, he's got some screws loose.
So that was a transition to the NFL football?
Yes.
All right, cool. So we're talking about Josh Norman for the Carolina Panthers. My Carolina Panthers. Which is, it's still, like I said, it's still weird for me to wear Panthers stuff because, I've been wearing it forever, but people are just, now that they've become a thing, I feel awkward that people are like, I don't know why, but people think, oh, bandwagon fan. That's the first thing you think when you see people on the West Coast wearing stuff that's, the stuff for across the country. But anyway, I think I touch on that every time. But anyway, Josh Norman, he shut down Des Bryant. He shuts down everyone, and he got 4 interceptions like the first 3 games of the season,
and then no one throws to him anymore.
And now he doesn't get any interceptions because he's so that disruptive.
Let me tell you why he's that disruptive for people that haven't seen this guy play. He's a taller cornerback.
It's because he wears that, he wears his cross on his chest.
He is taller though.
I know.
He's not the traditional like 5'8" with a 4.3 speed, right?
Yeah.
He's pushing 6'1".
Yeah. He's taller.
And then he's not 4.3 speed. He's not 4.4 speed even. He's probably low 4.5s.
Mm-hmm.
But he's always where he needs to be. And he has that. I don't know if people understand what I'm saying about, like, he has this wiry strength, right? So, like, he doesn't look big and strong and whatever, but he is. And so he'll go up against these receivers that are very physical, and they realize, hey, I can't push this fool around like I could push the other guys around that are like his same body frame. What is going on here?
Yeah.
And like I said, he's had some problems in college. And that's what I was telling you. I was like, hey, man, you just picked up a great corner. However, he's a couple bullets shy of a full clip. He really is.
He is.
I mean, and it's evidenced with who he goes up against. He played my Redskins, and my Redskins gave up. I will admit that. They, I don't want to make excuses for them. They straight out. I can handle losing. What I can't handle is
they did give up, though.
Not being competitive and not trying. That made me angry.
They gave up.
But he got fiery with my lineman. That's nicknamed the Silverback.
The offensive lineman. It's cool. I was telling him before we started recording that it's always fun to watch the cornerbacks get in it with the offensive lineman.
Richard Sherman did the same thing, except for Sherman was a lot more boisterous, and so my lineman actually punched him in the face. Actually, open palmed. He realized lots of suspension, maybe none. So he had a fist, and then he's like, "I'll just pop him," And I mean, Sherman was asking for it because Sherman's like, "What are you gonna do, boy?" And he's like, "I'll punch you in the expletive head." And he said, "Do it then." Pop. Right? I mean,
some of these players, they don't think that they're gonna, that they don't since they're so good, they're untouchable. But don't jaw off some guy that's 200 pounds heavier than you. Just don't do it. It's not smart.
These guys that are required are kind of like the divas, right? The really good cover corners because they're hardly ever called to come up and tackle and run support.
Yeah.
Wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Kick returners. Those guys are considered kind of like the divas, right? But they're on the kickers too, and the punters. They're always trying to get in people's face and talk crap, and then they're like, "Well, you're not gonna touch me." I'm like, dude, this guy manhandles other big dudes for a living. He will touch you.
Yeah.
And it will not be pretty for you. But I mean, you gotta like that as far as competitive spirit. You just gotta know where to keep it. And I think Josh, I have no problem doing with what he did.
I also think that Josh Norman likes to get in people's heads real fast and real quick.
And he does.
He does. And it was evident on Thursday when he played against Des Bryant because Des Bryant didn't get a catch.
You know who he reminds me of?
Who's that?
He reminds me of a taller, little bit slower Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
Right now. Before Deion was primetime Deion, when Deion his first 2-3 years in the league. That's who he reminds me of. I'm not saying he's going to be as great as Deion. He does have that potential, though.
Yeah.
Because he has all the physical attributes necessary.
And he's on a defense that's, has been in the top 10 for the last 4 years. This is his whole career in the NFL. So, that's always nice to have as well.
All right. So, talk about you have a little bit of beef with some of the media.
Oh, I always have beef with media. And
now jumping on the Panthers because, like, last year, when they statistically had the second best defense in the whole NFL, and best defense as far as points allowed, right?
Yeah.
Media never gave them any respect as far as that was concerned.
They still don't give them any respect, even though they're, like I said, they've been a top 10 defense in the NFL the last 4 or 5 years.
I think they're the best defense right now, not only because of who they have, but it's how they play. They're very disciplined.
They're basically, they move as one, they play as one, and it's hard to... and
they call each other out.
They do.
They call each other out, not just the defense, the whole team does.
Mm-hmm.
Cam and Josh Norman got into it.
They get into it all the time.
They
get into it all the time because they expect greatness, and if they're not showing it, they're going to tell you, and you're going to hear it from a lot of people.
Speaking of greatness, Cam has put up MVP type performances this year.
And that's the thing. If Cam Newton is still playing at this level, 3-4 weeks from now, when the season's over, I don't know who's going to stop them. And if you don't agree with me, you're lying to yourself. But
you know what?
because
I think they can beat any AFC team. I think they could beat any AFC team.
Because Cam Newton has never played like this before.
If they can get past the NFC Championship, you got a Super Bowl.
Here's the thing. This would be great
because the AFC isn't as physical now.
Because we were talking about beating big brothers up earlier.
Yeah.
So early in the season, I beat up. I finally dominated the Seahawks, which has been my Achilles heel every year for the last.
Those Seahawks
since
aren't
2002.
The same. Those Seahawks aren't the same, man.
And so
they're still good though.
So, and then Thursday, wow,
that was a bad pass.
Thursday night, I finally beat the Dallas Cowboys, who I haven't beaten in like the last 5 or 6 times I've played them.
With Romo. Romo was back.
Romo was back.
Should he have ever come back?
No, he should not have come back. That fool is stupid.
You know who made him come back?
Jerry Jones.
And his wife.
And his wife, stupid wife.
Yeah.
Stupid wives. I tell you what, wives are.
Well, when you marry somebody of that stature and that,
I can't have you sitting on the bench. I need you out on the field.
Yeah.
To make me proud.
You gotta be relevant.
You gotta be relevant. Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
No, he should not have ever gone out there. He wasn't ready. I mean, it only took one tackle for him to get taken out.
Well, one really clean tackle. He got hit more than that, but
yeah, but no, like one. He
one
only
good
got
one.
There was only one sack on him, and that was the only sack. And so it was one tackle.
Well, Thomas
basically.
Davis came through uninterrupted.
Yeah.
No one even touched him on his way.
And he's known for that. He's known for that.
Oh, Thomas Davis is a great linebacker.
Mm.
Who's even what's your oh, I forgot your other white linebacker.
Oh, AJ Klein?
No. He's another guy. He's backup to Davis.
So I got Shaq Thompson. I've
Nope.
got AJ Klein.
Nope.
I've got Luke Kuechly.
Nope. He's probably in your sub packages. Even he's not a bad player though.
No, Blackbird's been injured.
No, it's not Blackburn. Anyway, I can't remember. It's one of your like guys that doesn't get any love.
Okay.
Even Sunshine caught some passes.
He's been in there because Brown's been injured, and so they brought him back up from the practice squad. He's been out. Breslin's been out in and out of the lineup this whole year because he's not that great of.
Everyone that wants to make excuses for their teams, why they're injured and this, that, and the other, right?
Mm.
My team has 16 people on IR this year done. Yeah. Most injured team in the whole NFL. Guess what? Next man up, you got to do what you got to do. Your team lost its biggest receiving threat.
Yeah.
In Kelvin Benjamin.
And it took about halfway through the season for no, that's a lie. Well, so we picked up Ted Ginn Jr., which we should have never let go in the first place.
Yeah, dude. Just his special teams alone.
Yeah.
I mean.
And then I have Jericho Cotchery, seasoned player who played with the Steelers for a long, long time.
Your other guy, your rookie, hasn't been.
Devin Funchess. It took him about half the season to
living up to what they thought he could
to actually start doing what he was supposed to, but he's pulling in the numbers now. He's been on that fantasy watch. People have been picking him up, but anyway, he's made it now. I guess you could say because of that. I figured.
We spend a lot of time on these Panthers, but I mean they're the only undefeated team that I feel
deserves to be undefeated. Do you not think that
Patriots? No,
the Patriots should be undefeated. I think that the Patriots should be undefeated.
Should be now, yes, but I don't think they will be.
So to get back to my point, where we kind of went away from what I was talking about, but that triggered that whole thing about beating Big Brother. If I were to play New England in the Super Bowl this year, and beat them, that would just top everything for me as a fan for as long as I've been because of what happened.
You don't even remember about any brothers next season.
I won't have to worry about. I'd be the dominant brother, and I wouldn't have to care about them beating anyone because everyone that I needed to beat would be off my list. So that would be a complete. So it's kind of frustrating that I'm not playing them before then, but
Well, who are your other brothers in that division are not playing very well right now?
The Saints aren't playing very well.
Saints are not playing well.
Atlanta started off way hot.
Atlanta, I don't know what's up with them. Sometimes Matty Ice is Matty Ice, and sometimes he's Matty Ice cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had him on my fantasy team, so I know.
He's
Notre Dame, it says 6th. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Baylor is not 7th anymore.
Nope.
So, okay. Sorry about that randomness.
Um,
So, have you played the Saints this year?
I played the Saints once, and I beat the pants off them. It was
Like everybody?
It was the week that actually that he was out, that Drew Brees was out, and so but then the next year,
But they had a good backup.
they have a great backup.
McCown,
Yeah, McCown's great.
the brothers McCown,
Mm-hmm.
put them together. You got like a Voltron quarterback that's the best. Right?
Well, McCown's going to be back in this week, isn't he?
Because of Johnny Football
Johnny Football's out.
and the Browns. Johnny, and he's not out because of a playing thing. He's out because he went out
He
partying
doesn't know how to follow the rules,
during the bye week,
mm.
drank himself stupid,
which he's been doing the whole.
which that's not even why he's out, though. Then he lied about it.
That's true.
That's why he's out. It's like, if the management that had said, hey, man, if you just come to me and told me the truth, I wouldn't be happy,
But you'd be playing.
but you'd be playing.
Yeah.
Instead of, now I can't trust you with anything. Because you can't even tell me the truth. You can't be like, yeah, man, you caught me. He's like, no, I wasn't out. And they're like, oh, really? How about this picture? How about this one?
How about this video? This Vine that you sent out to everyone or whatever. It's playing. Probably didn't do that.
You're trying to tell me that the littlest brother Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle was there? Your twin lookalike? No. Not to mention, I think he's older than Johnny Manziel.
I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah. So but no, I think that New England should be 12-0.
The only team that's trending up other than you in your division is the Bucks right now.
That's true.
And they're a mediocre team at best.
They're 5-5. If they win this week, they'll take over and Atlanta loses, they'll beat Atlanta. And Atlanta hasn't won a game since they came back from their bye, I think.
Let me tell you, this whole NFC South is all shook up. Will Sean Payton lose his job? Okay, not will. Could. Because he's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
He could lose his job, though, over this.
He will. I mean, I shouldn't say he will. There's a good chance that he will. It's a higher...
That's why I rephrased it. I'm like, I could see him keeping him and saying, okay, this is your last year.
There's a higher percentage that he's going to lose his job than not losing his job. Let's just say that.
Okay, I agree with that. What about see, Dan Quinn is it Dan Quinn? Is he the Falcons' new coach? Yeah, it's Dan Quinn.
Okay.
He won't. He'll still have a lot of time.
He's got some time.
For the first half of the season, he made their defense legit too.
And they were the Atlanta Falcons of a couple years ago, where they you couldn't stop them.
But Julio Jones has been injured a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad for you. I like to see new blood get injected in there. I like to see competition, right?
I'm just glad that it was, because it turned out to be another one of those rebuilding seasons, with Kelvin Benjamin getting injured, and then
This is the best rebuilding season I've ever seen.
And so,
in any franchise.
Mm-hmm. And so, and not being sure if your safeties, your defensive backs were going to be great. There was iffy about that, and your offensive line being iffy, and then with all the new guys coming in and out, and how awful they played last year together, and so it's really nice to see that they came together as a team. And anyway, that's enough of that.
Talk about teams trending up. How about the Minnesota Vikings?
Minnesota Vikings, great team.
I mean, any team with Adrian Peterson is going to be at least mediocre, right?
Yeah.
But their defense has really stepped it up, and they lost Jared Allen.
They did.
They signed Everett to a big old contract. Everett Griffin, to a ginormous contract, and he's living up to it. I mean, as far as the defense goes, he's living up to it. I'm not too sure on his numbers, but Bridgewater's starting to be the kind of quarterback that you thought he was going to be.
Yeah. No. He's a great facilitator.
He's a good game manager.
There we go. That's the word.
But he can run
Facilitator.
He's
felicitator. I like that one better than felicitator.
Anyway,
whatever.
He's deceptively fast. You know, because he likes that pocket. He likes to sit and throw the ball, but he'll run too.
He does have that injury bug though, which is kind of a thing, but that's okay.
Then the Maryland receiver that's come out and now he's kind of cooled off a little bit, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere, which was nice because who
he came out of Maryland?
Who went down for him to step up? Because
Mike Wallace.
Yeah, somebody went down and then he stepped up. And
Mike Wallace
filled his spot.
Killed it last year on the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
Or 2 years ago on the Dolphins, and then he.
Who was he with before that? He was wasn't he a Steeler?
Steeler.
Yeah, he was a Steeler. Then he went to Miami, and then he went up. And he's Washington, not Washington, Minnesota.
Minnesota. I like him.
I like sports.
I like one of their linebackers. His name is
just one of them.
Well, I can remember him from a while ago. I don't know if he's still on our team. His name's Chad Greenway.
Nope. Nope.
You put him in the flat, you get interceptions.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, sorry. I just realized that you're talking about my rookie linebacker that came in.
It's Jones.
Who plays?
Jones. That's his name. Jones.
He's a special teams specialist.
He's. It's like Jones something, huh? Is his last name? He's like Chandler Jones. No, Chad Jones, something like that.
It's not Chandler Jones, but he's one of those guys that's gonna be great. Anyway, okay.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Sorry, light bulb just.
That's
went
who
up.
it reminded me of because you put him in the flat and he's cover.
No, he's
eat
just
up them
like
screen passes.
He's just like Luke Kuechly. But anyway, and that's why they picked him up is because he's just like Luke Kuechly.
Eat up them screen passes. That's what he was doing.
Okay, so, geez, you saw I interrupted what you were saying.
No, that's good. I'm just talking about
Minnesota,
a team that was surprising that went trending up, right?
Yeah, Tampa Bay was another one that's trending up. Surprisingly, who else is trending up?
No one in the NFC East.
No one in the NFC East. All of those guys are trending down. We'll come to that dumpster fire here shortly.
The Raiders were until they lost Aldon Smith. Now their defense doesn't seem like it can hold up. Oh, the Bears. That's who's trending up.
The Bears are trending up. The Bears.
Bears got that Zach Miller.
They have Langford. That backed up Forte. That's good to have somebody come and take your place. There's been a lot of injuries in the running back position this year, and every single backup has stepped up.
Right.
And done that role that they're supposed to. Every single one of them. There's not a bad backup this year for running backs.
Langford stepped up. Coleman stepped up. Spencer Ware stepped up. Shandarick West stepped up.
D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams really stepped up.
Man, he's playing his like he did in the second year in Carolina.
Rawls
stepped
up for beast mode.
Nope, every single one of them, and that's
Williams. Great. Williams stepped up for McCoy in Buffalo.
Yep.
Who else?
And now that's a double header drag in there.
Maybe Forsett stepped up huge when Ray Rice left.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's out. Now Buck Allen got to do it.
And he's as of last week he stepped up. So
the Lions really haven't had anyone really step up.
Although
they're running back by committee.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're trending up a little bit too. Forgot about them.
The Lions are trending up.
Which I dropped Calvin Johnson, and then he starts beasting. You know who really impresses me on the Lions is that BYU lineman / outside linebacker Ziggy Ansah. He's disruptive.
I was like, I know that name. Where do you go to school?
Yeah, BYU.
Yeah.
And they have Vanoy too.
Mm-hmm.
And Vanoy actually made some plays in the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah. Outside linebacker.
Who else do you think is trending up though?
Who else is trending up?
Oh, obviously Patriots, but we know that.
Patriots. Well, the Patriots have always been trending up. They
someone that's surprising though.
A surprising trending up. Let me see. Miami started.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to have to answer this person.
Okay.
I'll just keep texting.
Answer that person. Where did I put my phone? I was going to look at some teams. Because if I just keep looking at it, I can't just think about it. I got to look at it and see what's going on here. Okay. Trending up. Nobody in the NFC East.
Now nobody's trending up the NFC East. I mean,
so everyone in the NFC North is trending up except for Green Bay.
Oh yeah. What has gotten into Aaron Rodgers? If you talk to a lot of Green Bay fans that are really mad, they'll say Olivia Munn done did it.
New York Jets, not so much. Buffalo's kind of disappointing. What about Pittsburgh? What do you think about Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh has a lot of injuries right now. I mean, they've been injured with.
I wouldn't say they're trending down, but they're not up either. Because they've had Michael Vick throwing passes in the dirt, right?
Yeah.
They had Landry Jones do okay.
No, that's it for trending up, I think. Unless you want to talk about Houston.
Are they trending up, or did the Bengals just have a crappy game?
No, as far as because they're tied for first place in the AFC South.
Oh, that one's AFC South and the NFC East are
they're
the
dumpster
same.
fires, but
I like the Jaguars better than them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars are probably down there, huh? Because you have the Colts.
Well, there's Indy and Houston are tied at 5-5.
I don't like Indy.
And then Indy and Houston, sorry, and then you have Jacksonville at 4, so they're only a game behind. Anyway, so that's just one of those. It's going to be a toss up when it comes to the end of the year. See who wins that last game. But no, as far as Green Bay's trending down, Philadelphia's trending down. Who else is trending down? Denver's trending down. Atlanta's trending down. We talked about them. Who else we got? Let's talk about the Eagles real quick and how Chip Kelly's plan is not working out the best.
I told you it wouldn't.
I
know. Everyone knew it wasn't going to work.
Everyone knew it wasn't going to work. Even some of the Philadelphia fans.
When they gave up Deshaun Jackson, okay, he was a talent that was still. They just didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you give up one person, that's okay, right?
Then you just started giving people away.
And then you just started unloading people, unloading some of their best offensive linemen.
Like it was Halloween, just giving people away.
Unloading
like it was
LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah.
Their most important person on offense.
The most important person on offense.
How they were playing, yeah. Shady.
Yeah.
Shady McCoy.
Oh, how they were playing really shady? Is that what,
that's his nickname, Shady,
yeah,
but it's a great pun. And then they unloaded Macklin as well.
Yeah, Kansas City was really happy
and
about that.
And you hear the team try to, and the coach in particular, try to defend it. Oh, well, he has gang ties. I don't like his attitude. Blah, blah, blah. He's locker room cancer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you can understand that about a receiver. I don't know Deshaun personally, but like a lot of receivers definitely have that type of reputation. Me, my, look at me, do my thing,
Me, my.
Yeah, and you have some quarterbacks like that too.
Yeah.
Jim McMahon was like that.
Mm.
But then Shady, no one's ever said that he was a bad teammate. In fact, everyone that's
what?
Everyone that's played with him, with Shady, he's nothing but a stand-up dude, And everyone that's played with Macklin said the same thing.
Yeah.
Not everyone said the same thing about Jackson, but there were some that came out. McCoy said about Jackson, he's always been a good teammate to me.
Yeah.
And so one or two, one time, coincidence. 2 times, happenstance, right? 3 times is a pattern, dude. And he's just running people out because he thinks he can do what he did in college. And it's evidence that he can't with the personnel that he has. Even in the Thanksgiving game, the commentators were saying like, "Hey, these guys are still snapping because that's what they're known for is getting snaps off really quick."
Yeah.
They're known for getting the snaps off really quick and tiring out the defense. But even the commentators were like, "Hey, this is like still fast." How these guys are snapping, still faster than normal, but it's nothing what they used to do.
Yeah.
And so all their advantages to how that scheme used to run offensively is out the window now.
Yeah.
I mean, they got backup quarterbacks running. Bradford might come back. Bradford hasn't been particularly good.
No.
I mean, he hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been good either. He hasn't been the Bradford he was in St. Louis. But Foles hasn't been the Foles he was in Philadelphia either.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what he's doing. I think he's gone.
I don't know.
Philly fans do not, Eagles fans in particular, do not have any type of tolerance for losing. They just don't.
I agree with most of the media when it comes to Chip Kelly, and he's not going to get fired this year. Just because they put so much into him that gave him so much responsibility that maybe it might take a minute for him to turn this around. But then I think of Michigan this year and how it only took 2 games for them to get turned around from last year's mishaps. And so as far as Harbaugh goes and that type of coaching goes, so it's like okay. And I think that had to do with mostly Harbaugh thinking he's still in the NFL and trying to trying to transition back into the NCAA. But no, if it doesn't happen next year for the Eagles,
he's gone.
He won't be there. It won't be a thing for them. And so, yeah.
Clemson ain't losing that game.
Clemson's not going to lose today, and so
17-0 in the first quarter.
So they stay 1.
Or first half, excuse me.
They're going to stay number 1, so we can
chalk that down right now.
Down. So they'll be playing Iowa. But yeah, okay, cool. What else do we want to talk about in the NFL? I talked about people trending down.
Trending down. We already said Falcons.
I said Falcons. I talked about Falcons. I said
Saints
Denver.
a little bit.
The Saints a little bit.
Oh, Saints are more than a little bit. Saints are a disaster. They can't defend. They can't offense. They can't. They don't get off blocks. I don't know what their problem is.
They need Peyton might be gone then.
Oh, we forgot a team that's trending up.
Who's that?
The team that I'm going to let you talk about. It's another bird. It's another team of an avian variety. Bird. Bird is the word.
Okay. What team is this? Oh, the Cardinals?
Yeah.
Cardinals have been on top for a minute though, but
last year you made a revelation.
No, it wasn't me that had the revelation.
You told me about it.
I've just been around you so long that I just start receiving things as well.
I didn't come up with this. This is all you last year. I thought that the Seahawks were going to be on top in that division.
Here's the thing about the Arizona Cardinals and how I feel about the system that they have, the playoff, how they get people in the playoffs. No team should be getting into the playoffs if they aren't at least 500, and that's even including my team that got into the playoffs last year with the 7 wins. They shouldn't have gone, and Arizona should have got in because they had a spectacular season last year. A spectacular season. It was amazing. And they didn't get in, which is a bunch of baloney. And I said, well, next year they're going to be on top, and they're going to win the NFC.
You know what, though? Their defense is good. Carson Palmer's playing lights out.
Carson Palmer's playing better than he's ever played before.
How about the rejuvenation of Fitzgerald?
Fitzgerald, that's always nice to see. And
because he wasn't supposed to be their top one. It was John Brown was supposed to be their top receiver.
Yeah.
The rookie last year. Now he's second year. And he's been injured. Yeah. And then Malcolm Floyd was supposed to, all right, well, he'll step up.
And Malcolm he stepped up a little bit, but he's been injured a lot.
It's the Larry Fitzgerald show. And CJ2K.
Yeah.
Chris Johnson, running back. I don't know why they call him CJ2K. He only did that one time, but
that's okay. He's gonna
2,000 yards. That's why they call him.
I was trying to think of who their running back was.
CJ2K.
Yeah, and he's been being a very good, doing that veteran role and doing what he's supposed to.
But they got that stingy defense too.
Yeah, they've always had that stingy defense.
That's
what took him to the.
It's not as good as yours. Not as good as the Panthers' defense.
Last year it was better than Panthers' defense.
But they get turnovers. So, you got Honey Badger is your free safety back there. And who I really like at cornerback, Patrick Peterson.
Yeah. No, and so they'll it's scary for me because they're going to get that first round bye. Because there's no other team right now that's in the NFC that's going to top them.
So if they play the Vikings,
because they don't play.
If you play the Vikings, you have them winning. Right?
If what?
They play the Vikings in the
Oh yeah,
playoffs.
It's gonna be Arizona and Carolina in the NFC Championship game for sure.
I can see Vikings there.
You see Vikings?
I could.
I can see any team in the playoffs going to the NFC champ or any conference championship.
Who else is
because the
going to be
playoffs
there?
are a totally different thing.
Because who's ever coming out of the NFC East, which would probably be my Redskins, they're going to lose.
I mean, if they have to play against Carolina again, no, I don't want to see that again.
If they have to play against anybody that's going to make the playoffs,
I don't want to see
the
that.
wild card team going to beat them. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah. So right now you have Green Bay.
No.
Sorry, as far as wild card go,
Oh yeah,
you have Green Bay,
Seattle.
Seattle, and
Either Bears or Lions, maybe.
no.
Who?
Bears and Lions are way too far down there. Atlanta
Oh yeah, I forgot about
or
them.
Tampa Bay.
All right, Seattle, Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Seattle. That's who I'm thinking is going to win it for sure.
Anyway,
Just because their defense is better than those other teams.
and they're a different team in the playoffs as well. So,
I mean, the Giants could do what the Giants always do. Get in with 7 wins
And I'm
and
trying
win
to
the Super Bowl, fetchers.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out the Giants and see if they can what they're gonna do.
The Giants' problem
Oh, I forgot about the Giants. Giants could be in there too.
are injured, right?
Yeah.
But they play however Eli does. And there's good Eli and bad Eli.
There's good Eli and awful Eli.
It's Dr. Jekyll and
There's
Mr. Hyde.
There's no bad. He's just awful.
Yeah, he's throwing 4 picks Eli or throwing 5 touchdowns Eli.
Yeah, it's one or the other, and it's every other week too. It's awful.
And you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Except for when it's MetLife Stadium and my Redskins go in there. It's always good Eli. Makes me angry. Hopefully this week is bad Eli because he's coming to Washington. Or I should say Landover, Maryland, because that's where they play.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, you know what other team the whole team is like that, though? Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Who's that?
St. Louis Rams.
St. Louis Rams.
They should be in the hunt for the wild card.
They should be. I mean, because like I said before this, we were planning on talking about or getting together what we were going to talk about. I said they're the exact same team as the
Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings. Exact same team.
As far as level of talent.
As far as level of talent goes.
They have a better quarterback.
They have
Less good running back, but he's still good.
almost as good running back. They have the same type of wideouts.
Oh, except for Stephen Bailey got shot.
Oh.
Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Got shot 2 times in the dome this
Ooh.
week. This week.
Ooh.
When he's in Miami.
Oh, that's rough.
For Thanksgiving.
Hmm.
He's living, though.
Oh.
So far.
Not happy living.
No.
That's not fun. That's not fun.
He got shot in the dome, right, 2 times. They had kids in the car.
Oof.
The other guy in the car shielded the kids, got shot a bunch more times.
Hmm.
And he's in critical.
Yeah, that's
condition.
not fun at all.
No, that's sorry. That just reminded me of what happened because we were talking about in the news and stuff, and you said Johnny Manziel, and we talked about all that.
Yeah, no, that's not fun at all.
Miami is a bad place for NFL stars to be. This is the 8th year anniversary of Sean Taylor's death, who was a Miami Hurricane star, and he got shot in his home this week 8 years ago, right before this game. And he bled out and died. Stedman Bailey now gets shot there. It's just not a good place for those guys to go back. I mean, I know it's your home, but maybe you should make a new home when you get to NFL because there's so many people trying to get a piece of that money. I mean, that's why they broke into Sean Taylor's home. They were kids. They weren't even 18 at the time.
That's
broke in for money concerns. You know, they wanted to steal stuff and rob. So, I mean, I don't know. If that kept happening to me and I was in a profession that, like, I knew I'd be a target, I'd be out. You know, not just for my sake, but for my family's sake, too.
Exactly.
St. Louis, to me, on a brighter note, St. Louis, to me, is, I think, the most physical football team right now, is the defense. Not necessarily the best, but, man, they hit you hard. Their receivers jam you. Their receivers, their corners jam you at the line of scrimmage. Their safeties, probably their worst players is their safeties, right? But that offensive line can get after. Defensive line. Excuse me, man. I'm all over the place today.
It's okay.
Can get after you. That Chris Long, he's kind of old, but he's still beast, right? They got, what's his name now? Aaron Donald. They picked up last year.
Yeah.
From Pitt. He's a monster. And then they have Robert Quinn.
Yeah, you do.
That D-line is scary. That D-line is... It's about as scary as yours because Jared Allen and Robert Quinn are like this, or Jared Allen and Chris Long are like the same age. So they need to get some new rotation in there. But you already got new blood in Ely.
I've got new blood with anyway. My defensive line is you can pull one out and the guy behind him is just as good. So
yeah, they need to do that, but their starting line is mean. So that's what I think about them is they're kind of underachieving this year.
They are underachieving. I mean, it's
what's the biggest dumpster fire to you this year?
Biggest dumpster fire? Well, the one that everyone's been calling for since the last year, it came true. I mean, San Francisco.
Yeah.
San Francisco was the biggest dumpster fire.
Yeah.
After that,
I knew there was gonna be dumpster fire, but I didn't know it was gonna be this bad.
I knew it was gonna be this bad. I knew that.
You knew Kaepernick was gonna crap his pants this hard?
Yeah, I did. I knew he was going to.
I did it.
I knew he was going to.
I knew it was gonna be good, but I didn't know. I didn't know that they were gonna eat $100 million contract and have him sit on the bench.
I didn't know. I didn't know that they were gonna trade away people, as much as they did. I mean, traded people to division rivals and things like that. I didn't see that at all, but I knew that they weren't. I figured they end up the season with 3 wins, and I still think that's what's gonna happen.
You know, the only thing smart they did. They got rid of Aldon Smith.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Raiders, and now he's suspended too. He played a couple games for, well, more than a couple. He played several games for them, and now he's not playing anymore.
Yeah. No. I don't know.
All right, so that's the resounding dumpster fire.
Yeah.
That it's such a big dumpster fire that we didn't really even think anything was going to happen anyway.
No. The other dumpster fire out there, there's a couple of them.
Dolphins.
Dolphins are a dumpster.
They thought just because they got Sue in free agency that they were going to wreck everybody.
And they looked like they were going to do that, but then mutiny basically happened. And
they did.
And then, they played a couple good games, and now they're back to being a dumpster fire. Another dumpster fire, the Saints.
I didn't see that coming.
We kind of touched on them way too much, so we won't talk about the Saints that much.
The Browns, obviously.
The Browns are
with Josh Gordon and Johnny Football.
Dumpster fire.
Which is dumb because they have pieces in place to have a good defense.
They do.
They got Hayden, the cornerback, right? Is it Hayden?
They have Kruger.
Then they picked up Orchard for a backup.
And who else is? I mean, their offensive line is great.
They picked up the best center in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
They have pieces. Oh, they got this guy came out of nowhere for fantasy football lovers like myself. Barnage. Gary Barnage has played several years in the NFL. He's dang near 30 years old.
Yeah, no, he's been
and he's been killing it. He's the second best tight end statistically to Gronkowski. Which is saying a lot because Gronkowski's plays tight end at another planet level.
See, now I thought that would have been Eifert for Cincinnati.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Because he's been playing lights out himself.
So has a lot of tight ends have. Jordan Reed been playing good.
A lot. It's the year of the tight ends.
Now that what's his bucket? Zach Miller in the Bears been emerging. They've been winning because Cutler has someone to throw to, a big target.
Mm-hmm. No, let's see. Their defense. I'm looking to see who.
Because they run a 3-4 as well. And their offensive line, they have 2 really good offensive line. Is it Myers? They have a center and a guard that are just lights out. Joe Thomas, I think, is one, and Eric Winston, I think, is the other. Anyway, they're good.
So I'm going back to the Cleveland Browns, and since we were talking about their defense and how their defense is doing.
And
Yeah, that's who I was talking about too. Sorry.
oh, sorry.
That's to talk about the offensive line, though.
No, so I'm talking about Carlos Dansby.
Oh, Dansby came over from Arizona.
Yeah, he's killing it. They have Xavier Cooper. They have Danny Shelton.
Danny Shelton. That's who they got. I knew they got. Danny Shelton was out of Washington.
Danny Shelton.
The Husky. He's a monster.
Paul Kruger and Nate Orchard play the same position, so
Yep.
they switch each other out.
So who's their cornerbacks?
Their quarterbacks, Quan Williams,
Okay.
Tremon Williams,
Yeah, he's okay.
and then they have, as their safeties, they have Tayshaun Gibson and Jordan Poyer.
Oh yeah, Gibson is okay. Poyer's he played for Oregon State.
And they have Charles Gaines, these cornerbacks, and
Oh, dude, I bet he's on injured reserve then.
let's see, it doesn't say. He hasn't played very much.
Hayden's injured probably.
But yeah, so their defense is, they got good pieces.
Or his, I don't know, I can't remember now.
And they'll be good once they
Figure out their personality. I mean, get their personnel under control.
Yeah.
Um,
Got to get rid of. Mines will try to trade Johnny Football to Dallas Cowboys because that's the other dumpster fire that we haven't talked very much about.
That is the other dumpster fire, and
we're a little bit, not too much.
A little bit, and how Tony Romo shouldn't be playing.
Tony
right now.
Romo shouldn't be playing. I don't know how Greg Hardy and Randy Gregory aren't getting to quarterbacks more than they are.
Yeah, especially with Sean Lee there in the middle to try and get people out the cover up.
Sean
well.
Lee is a phenomenal linebacker.
Cowboys last 5 years have been a dumpster fire.
They got Brandon Carr that came over from the Chiefs, and he was a lockdown corner when he was with them.
It's just a.
You put him on paper, you're like, this is a good team.
Every year.
Every year, and then you watch him play. You said, what in the world?
It's like they don't know how to.
Derek McFadden should be doing. He's been doing okay, but they don't have any guy to back him up. They don't have any third down running back that can do anything. They cut Christine Michael. They cut. They picked up.
I was gonna say
Trey Williams.
They also
he was not that great.
They picked up Robert Turbin as well.
They picked up Robert Turbin, who was a Brown before that.
He was a Brown this year.
Yeah.
And then they traded him.
When he played in Seattle, he did good when he spelled beast mode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the heck, man.
I don't know.
Maybe he just got old. I mean, shelf life for a running back is 4 years.
It is
for average running back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some guys that last longer. I don't know how Barry Sanders did it. He didn't get hit flush. He was just
when you're elusive like that and you aren't looking for trouble.
My goodness, dude. One team trending down that we touched on a little bit that was awesome earlier this year. The Bengals.
The Bengals? Oh.
What in the world is up with these Bengals? They have a stout defense. Okay. They have 2 awesome running backs.
Mm-hmm.
They have the Ginger Ninja.
They do.
And they have one of the best young receivers in the league in A.J. Green.
And then you have Marvin Jones on the other side. So
Marvin Jones on the other side, and Eifert.
And one of the best tight ends in the league. Yeah. No.
Why are they
losing?
They're drinking their own Kool-Aid.
Just like the Utes did.
They're drinking their own Kool-Aid. They think that there's nobody in the AFC that's going to catch up to them anyway, so they're like, we're really good.
Except for the Patriots already ahead of them.
Besides the Patriots, I don't count the Patriots.
These Bills can come in the wild card if they get their crap together.
If they figure out if they can keep their team healthy, that's the other thing with them, and they can keep.
Shady's playing.
I know, but they need.
Watkins needs to quit drinking his own Kool-Aid.
Watkins needs to not play just one good game this season.
Yeah. If you throw to me 10 times, I'll get you whatever.
They have their wideouts are decent. They have decent wideouts. They're not putting up numbers, but
they got. Is it Robert Woods? He was a USC, or is it Marquise Lee? It's Woods, I think.
I think they have both of those guys that you just said.
Do they?
I think so.
Those are both of the guys that were Marquise Lee and Robert Woods. I thought one went to Jacksonville and one went to.
Let me look at this up real quick. I know that
Buffalo, but they could be. I don't know.
Let me look it up. Buffalo Bills, the roster.
Sammy Watkins is gonna be their number one.
Chart. You got Charles Clay's their tight end.
Yeah, Clay's good.
Chris Hogan, Robert Woods. Chris Hogan is the other one that's
they play really well when they're called up to do it.
Their problem is they don't know which quarterback to trot out. I like Tyrod Taylor.
Tyrod Taylor is great,
but he's not a traditional quarterback.
No,
I mean
he's
But I love their defense. They have two safeties that are just beast over the middle. They got Stephon Gilmore, who's okay. They got the Williams.
mm-hmm.
They got Mario Williams. They're just
They got
they're meaner than people think they are.
They got Rambo, but anyway, no, Bakari Rambo.
Bakari Rambo, he's one of those guys that used to be a Redskin, then he goes somewhere else and actually plays good.
Mm-hmm. Ronald Darby's really good.
Darby's good.
Oh man. Stephen Gilmore, you said?
Yeah.
He's got 3 interceptions on the season.
Stephon Gilmore's pretty decent.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and not talk about football anymore.
All right, we's done with the football. We're gonna talk about my first love, which is basketball. But
I got that basketball job.
I'm too focused in football right now
job.
to really do the NCAA basketball. Although Kentucky does look beastly again this year.
And Utah is looking really, really awful.
Jakob Poeltl should have went.
He should have went.
No, he should have stayed, to be honest.
He needed to stay.
All right. First off, there's an elephant in the room.
Oh,
Talking about the 17-0
I can't breathe.
Golden State Warriors.
Are they going to keep it up?
No.
No. They're going to lose tonight?
No.
They beat the Suns last night, didn't they?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Or did they beat the Suns last
Let me
night?
see.
Oh, we're so good at this game. Believe it or not, we're not insiders.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to that. That's what our name... Anyway, it doesn't matter. They're probably not even still listening because we've been all over ADD today. That's cool.
This is what happens when you don't do it.
I know.
No practice.
We don't flow. The flow's not there anymore.
Perfect practice makes perfect. And we ain't even did no practice.
Perfect practice makes perfectness.
Quote.
They
from the
played
prophet.
Denver tonight.
Oh, dear. Yeah.
Yeah, they played Phoenix last night. 135-116.
Oh, dear.
Do you want to hear Steph's line?
No. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me find the players. 41 points.
Okay.
8 assists.
Okay.
6 rebounds.
All right.
6 turnovers.
Okay, well, 6 turnovers. Yeah, okay.
Barbosa was the only other one to do 20s. Everyone else scored less.
And I think that's a stat that's a thing.
This is
them.
why I say they can't sustain it.
That's a thing.
If Steph gets injured, these guys aren't even playoff team.
No.
Nope.
They're not.
Steph is what makes them what they are. Now, can he keep up his shooting at the same percentage he's doing right now? No. Because last year, remember the Blazers? As a team, they were shooting like 70% for a long stretch of the season from the three-point line.
Yeah.
And then what happened when they stopped hitting those threes? Went downhill.
Dumpster fire.
They're actually doing better than I thought this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they lost LaMarcus Aldridge.
Considering they lost everyone.
Yeah. Other than D-Lil.
Mm-hmm. But they picked up CJ McCollum, so.
No, he's a rookie.
Oh, is he?
No, last year. They drafted him last year.
Oh, well.
Or was it the year before? I don't know. He came out of Lehigh. He was the guy that came out of Lehigh that was
but
killing
he's
him.
he's been doing well, so.
He's been playing their shooting guard. Anyway,
It's
sorry. We're
less
talking
than-
about the Warriors.
We're talking about the Warriors, the mighty Warriors
The Warriors that
from Oakland.
Steve Kerr, their head coach, hasn't even been coaching them this year for some issue or another.
Yeah, but they've been
Luke Walton.
They've been doing his system, so it's been all right.
Yeah.
Is what the coaching staff has been saying. So
As long as the team believes in the system, then they'll be just fine.
Listen to this number from Draymond Green.
Okay.
14 points.
Okay.
10 assists.
Oh.
10 rebounds.
Hey, triple double.
2 blocks.
Okay.
4 turnovers.
Hmm.
4 personal foul.
That's not bad. That's
He's
great.
all over the place.
That's great. That's good.
You're going to hear Bogut,
Did he even play?
7 points.
Yeah,
2 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 blocks.
Hmm.
Yeah.
he's not. He's a non-factor anymore. He's just a body to put in. They play Sacktown tonight, dude.
Yeah, they play Sacktown tonight. They're going to whoop up on Boogie.
So they will be going 18-0.
They're going to be 18-0, and then they're going to be 18-1 on Monday because the Jazz going to win.
Because why? Because usually when the Jazz have a really bad
game, they come back and kill the next player. So what are you hoping for? A bad game tonight or what?
Well, other than
I mean, because
a couple of games that are really outliers, you know,
because
the Jazz play up to their level of competition. Because they'll play the good teams, they'll play pretty good games. If they don't win, they'll still play pretty well. Other than that Oklahoma City.
Okay, so say
game.
what about Oklahoma City?
That's why I said
when Kevin Garnett,
he would
It's
have to
not
come
Kevin
back
Garnett.
against us.
Kevin Durant wasn't even supposed to play that game, but he ended up playing at 27 points.
Yeah.
That's like Michael Jordan all over again.
Everyone did bad that game. There was not one player did good.
And then the next night,
Did well.
Gordie Hayward drops 33 points.
33 points, his season high.
Yeah. But anyway,
You know,
so we'll talk about Jazz last. But anyway, because that's what we always do.
Celtics are playing better
Celtics are
this
playing-
year than I
Celtics
thought
are-
that they would. Right?
I mean, they were a playoff team last year, but that's not saying much for the East. Once again,
The Knicks last Friday
Knicks are surprising.
defeated OKC by 3 points, 93-90 or something like that. It is ridiculous. And remember we talked about that Porzingis when we did our drafting?
Yeah.
I was like, I like this guy.
Porzingis is good.
You can't teach what this guy does.
Got booed.
He got booed hard.
He got booed.
And that
but-
little kid was all crying.
Oh, I got a white boy on
You
my
know-
team. This is
you
gonna
know,
suck.
I got
From Europe.
You know what that kid or Porzingis said about that kid? Yeah, he was crying at my draft, but he has my jersey now.
No, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
stupid kid.
And
you know, I shouldn't say stupid kid, stupid father, because you know the father was like riling it up. He riled this kid up.
Oh,
you know?
for sure.
Because the kid doesn't know any better. That stupid father, ignorant father. This guy, he's just from Europe and he's terrible. He's like Ennis Canner. He's gonna be creeping on all the sorority houses.
let's not bring that up again.
So how would you like to pay Ennis Canner what he's getting to ride the bench?
Yeah, that's cool.
Good job, Oklahoma City.
Way to go. Way to lose.
Way to lose Durant.
Way to lose Durant.
Because Westbrook is staying there because he wants to be the top dog.
Yeah.
You know, he's playing well, and he will play well. I mean, he's an athletic freak of nature.
Okay.
So we talked about Porzingis for a minute.
Now let's stay on the Eastern Coast real quick. The
How-
Eastern Coast,
How about them 76ers?
the Eastern Conference. How about them 76ers not winning a game?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okafor getting all PO'd.
Oh,
And he got PO'd he got PO'd in the tunnel talking to some fan.
yeah.
He got angry yelling at his teammates. Right? They almost won 2 nights ago and lost by 2 points.
Well, we were talking about dumpster fires.
This is a dumpster fire every year.
Okay, this dumpster fire is the epitome of all dumpster fires.
Yeah, it's like,
What does Philadelphia even have a team? They've been playing so bad over the past few years.
And they're mad that they don't get the number 1 pick. And so they just keep tanking. And with their picks that they don't do usually well with, other than the Okafor, you know what they did? They draft some guy overseas that ain't going to come over anyway. We talked about it in the draft when we did our NBA draft.
Yeah.
These guys drafted nothing but power forwards and centers all night long.
and that makes no sense at all.
All night long.
But-
So they're trying to get rid of Noel
Mm-hmm.
because they realize that he's just straight defender. He's not Anthony Davis, which anyone with 2 eyes and halfway decent basketball IQ could have told you.
Yeah.
Embiid is out for the year because of his foot.
Sorry, I'm just looking at their guards right now to see what they have.
Covington is their only guard they got.
Um,
They traded Michael Carter Williams to the Bucks.
Covington.
Yep, Robert Covington.
No,
I think so.
no.
Who is it?
They've got T.J. McConnell
Yeah, I know that.
and Isaiah
Cannon.
Cannon and Phil Pressey.
What? Where's Covington from?
Covington's not even in there. I don't know what you're looking at. Oh, there he is, right there.
Yeah, I thought so.
When did he come in?
This year, I think.
Yeah, this is second year. But how come he's not? I was just looking at the depth chart. That's why I was like, wait, where's he at? They don't even have him in the depth chart anyway. So that's
He scored 28 points last game.
Yeah. Okay.
Isaiah Cannon had 23.
Mm-hmm.
They still can't win. It was Houston. That's who they played.
But
It was 114 to 116. So there ain't no defense going on.
no.
Because even though James Harden scored 50 points, he ain't trying to guard nobody. Ever. He doesn't.
He doesn't. So
He has that glorious beard, though. I'm Joe. I got beard envy of that.
all right, so we'll talk about that, but let's talk about
So, all right, are the Sixers going to lose forever?
they're not gonna lose forever. Well,
Because they're already talking about tanking again.
yeah, they'll lose forever. They'll lose forever. That's why I said I don't.
You
know.
can take for 1 year.
I don't understand why they still have a team.
You can tank for 1 year. I don't know why the NBA doesn't give their team to someone else.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I'm saying.
Say, all right, they say, okay, Memphis, you're an Eastern team now. We'll give you back to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
Then it needs to happen.
Oh, that
Because-
would be so great for basketball. And it would be so great to stick it to the Philly fans, because those Philly fans, when the athletes are there and they're trying really good, and it's just they don't give them anybody else but one superstar, and they don't give them hardly any support. They treat their athletes like crap. You know, very few Utahns were like, man, that gold breaking Karl Malone and John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek couldn't get it done. What a bunch of lazy bums! Like, I didn't hear anyone say that. Did you?
No, I didn't see it.
Well, because Karl Malone would have popped you, but like, you know,
They're basically idolized here in Utah.
right? You didn't say like we said, man, we would have had it if it wasn't for that meddling Jordan. you know, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like the way that the Phillies treats their athletes is like everyone else is scrubs. You just got beat by a scrub. It's not you got beat by the best team.
Yeah.
You know, for the lost the championship.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of how I feel is, you know, but at the same time, it would be a huge detriment to the owners being like, hey, and it'd make waves throughout the NBA. Hey man, you want to tank more than 1 year?
Yeah.
This is what you're gonna get.
This is what's gonna happen.
Your franchise will be removed from you
Exactly.
because we're not into that.
We're not even trying to play that game.
That'd be awesome, but I don't think it will happen. But it'd be great. What about Memphis this year, dude? They're shocking.
Wait, let's keep it in the Eastern Conference.
Because I said Memphis, that's why. Sorry.
Okay. No.
Eastern Conference. What one you got?
I'm just talking about. Let's talk about the Central Division here.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting division right now.
This is.
I mean, it's
This year.
very equal. I mean,
I don't know. I think the Pacers have gone down.
Pacers
should be playing better than they are.
CJ Miles, y'all. Remember? Or was it you with me, or was it Randy when I got an argument with that grandma? She's like, CJ Miles is the best player on the Jazz.
I wasn't there with you.
Oh, it was on Front Runner the way back from the game.
And you were yelling at an old lady?
No, I just said you're wrong.
Sorry, man, but you're wrong.
He's not the best one on the Jazz.
I mean, because look here.
Darren Williams is
Ready?
at that time.
Ready for this?
Y'all ready for this? Yeah, go.
So George Hill, Monte Ellis, CJ Miles, Paul George, Ian Mahimi.
Jan.
Huh? Oh yeah, that's
Jan.
right. I always say Ian.
He's from France, but he's like Swedish or something.
They should be.
And you forgot their rookie draft pick, Miles Turner.
Miles Turner,
Yeah.
who actually is.
George Hill is an underrated point guard.
I wanted George Hill to be a member of the Utah Jazz a long time ago.
George Hill and Mike Conley, to me, are very similar play style. Under control, lockdown defenders, make the right play. Except for Mike Conley got better style because George Hill done dyed his hair blonde. He looked weird. Yeah, I don't know. They should be doing better for their personnel.
Mm-hmm.
But you know who's taking their place? Who's in that Central Division? Say everybody, just so I know.
Okay. Cleveland, Indiana, Chicago, Detroit, and Milwaukee.
Ooh, that's a nice one.
That's and everyone's pretty even. I mean, Milwaukee's 6 games behind Cleveland,
I like Detroit in that.
but everybody else is either 2 games or 4 games behind. I like Detroit in this division.
Detroit this year, when they got rid of Greg Monroe, who went to the Milwaukee Bucks,
Yeah.
and they picked up one of the Morris's twins from the Suns.
Yeah, who's playing lights out, and
That's what they needed because Morris and Drummond, or no Morris, Monroe and Drummond would play at the same time, and they're both the same player. They didn't have any outside shot, where Morris can shoot it from the perimeter, opens up the floor a lot.
Greg Monroe is BTW is
That's by the way.
he's actually playing pretty decent at in Milwaukee.
And Milwaukee
But
has Jabari Parker back.
and Jabari Parker back, yeah.
I like the way Milwaukee plays. They're very physical. They rely on their athleticism. They ugly up the game, which is what you should do when you don't have the talent level.
Mm.
I mean, that series against the Bulls last year was awesome. Fun to watch.
I've been a Milwaukee fan for a little bit too. I mean,
And then they got Carter Williams.
Mm.
Stupid Sixers. Anyway,
Yeah. Stickers.
dummies.
Jeez, what that's.
hey,
How can we not make this look obvious? There's no way. You're totally tanking.
wow, that's funny. I just realized that Philadelphia giving away people. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy.
It's a conspiracy.
No one to live in Philadelphia.
It's too cold.
It's always sunny in Philadelphia, except when you're a Sixers or Eagles fan.
That's a great show.
Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Okay, so Cleveland and Detroit, top 2 teams in that division.
Yeah, I like Detroit better just because Cleveland is the no-brainer pick.
What about Chicago?
No. Derrick Rose be getting hurt again. Mirotic is hurt too.
Even with Jimmy Butler in there?
I like Jimmy Butler though. Taj Gibson. Jimmy
Taj
Butler.
Gibson.
No Keem Joe.
Joe-
I was dyslexic, but I'm fine now.
And Paul Gasol. They don't even have Joakim Noah starting anymore on this depth chart here.
Because he can't hit no shots.
He can't. He's a defensive player.
He's a great defender though.
He's the best. One of the best.
Big man, yeah.
One of the best big men. Okay. Well, how about here we go. Miami, Atlanta, Charlotte, Orlando, and Washington.
Washington's not been living up to expectations.
Washington.
I don't know what happened.
Toronto got a lot better
Toronto got a lot better.
from one guy, DeMari Carroll.
They were still playing pretty well last year.
They
without
were,
him.
but he gave them that defender that can defend 3 positions.
Yeah. So here's the thing. They have.
And Kyle Lowry,
I don't understand. That's another thing with Washington Wizards. I don't understand it.
John Wall, man,
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Bradley Beal.
Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
They lost Paul Pierce though.
No. Oh no.
The truth.
I mean, because they got Gortat and Chris Humphries and Nene and Dejuan Blair and Drew
Juwan
Gooden.
Blair.
Huh?
Juwan Blair.
Dejuan.
Yeah. He doesn't have any ACLs. He's
it's
like
true.
born without him. It's crazy medical thing.
That is pretty.
Medical anomaly.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, don't do that. You tear your ACL. I don't got any. You know, can you imagine that grown up? He's like, nuh-uh, mom.
Don't worry about it. My mom wouldn't let me play football because I was so small, I break bones. But anyway,
Yeah.
tearing ACLs left and right. Okay, so here. So what do you think? So
I like Milwaukee. Out of the Central, I like Milwaukee and Detroit.
Detroit
Over
Cleveland.
No, I'm obviously not over Cleveland, but I want those King to lose. What I want.
Well, we're talking about top 2 teams that were
Cleveland's
in
gonna
the
be
division.
Cleveland's the number 1 team in that
Okay,
division.
so then Milwaukee or Detroit? Because I think Indiana's better than Milwaukee.
My heart says Milwaukee, but my brain says Detroit.
Okay. All right then.
All right, so you're talking about Eastern now?
Yeah.
Atlantic?
We got Miami or Atlanta. Or both.
Yeah, that's a hard one.
I'm looking at this division, and it's those two.
Those two, because until Washington shows me something more than what they've been doing, I'm not even going to chalk them up to anything making any noise.
No,
They might be number 8. The way they're playing.
Yeah.
Which is sad because they have some good personnel.
Yeah.
system-wise, I think the Hawks are the top. However, Miami has an underrated defense. And we all know that in the Eastern Conference, defense gets you far because not a lot of teams play defense out there. Right?
No. Because it's all about that offense.
Boston could even threaten for a playoff spot.
Well, as it stands now, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that.
They've played decently these last couple games.
Boston will be in the playoffs this year. I mean, they're a good enough team. They're a playoff team for.
We'd be fourth of the East.
Yeah, there's always that. I'm never saying that ever again. Right now, Utah Jazz are 500. So.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
But we've had a hard schedule so
it's
far.
The hardest schedule in the NFL, NBA so far. So.
Yeah, we played. Of the 14 games, we played 7 on the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's half of them have been on the road, and I think we've won.
2 of them have been without Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
That we should have won. One of them, the Cavs game, we should have won that game. The Cavs shot 30 more free throws than we did, and they still only won by 4. So, whatever. That game should have been a lot different than what it was. All right. What's the other division?
That's it.
All right,
Western.
Those Rockets have been sucking.
Rockets. So we want to talk about that? Let's talk about the Rockets then.
They got a coach fired.
They did.
That's why I was bringing it up. If
Yeah.
you told me, I thought George Karl would get fired from the Kings before the Rockets did.
No, George Karl won't get fired from the Kings.
I thought he would because he's in fights with Boogie.
That's true. No. That division is weird. I don't know what to make of that division yet. I mean, because you have New Orleans, who was a playoff team last year.
Yeah, they're not playing good either.
They got.
We
4
see him
wins.
tonight though.
We see him tonight. We'll see how they play.
And Tyreek Evans has been injured. Anthony got injured yesterday. He went out in the third quarter.
Yeah, let's see. I'm trying to see if there's any. Let's see.
If you were to tell me that Eric Gordon would be the most durable one in the season thus far, I would have laughed at you.
Exactly, laughed my face off.
Out of those New Orleans Pelicans.
Because you got injury-prone Eric Gordon.
Anyway,
He's always injured.
let's see.
He's had so many injuries to his ankles and knees that I was surprised. I didn't even know the names of those body parts.
All right, so, here's the thing. Norris Cole's been out. That's the
Norris
thing.
Cole been out after they traded the Heat. Look amazingly smart after that.
Quincy Bondexter.
He's been out.
He's been
He's a hustle player.
Then you got Anthony Davis is questionable for tonight.
Yep.
Kendrick Perkins is out,
Yep.
and those are the only ones that are out that are.
Tyreek Evans gonna play? He hasn't played yet.
It says he's in there. So.
Okay.
And then we got Trey Burke and Rodney Hood that are questionable.
Because of back spasm for Trey Burke.
Yeah. Both
What's Rodney Hood?
back spasms?
Both of them?
Yeah.
What are these guys doing together? Getting back spasms, man.
Working out too hard. But yeah, so that's.
and I know it.
So we'll see. We'll see how long Anthony Davis plays tonight, and if he's gonna play, I know he'll play. So we'll see. We'll see how this game goes.
If he doesn't play, that's a straight up.
And Norris Cole might actually
Loss
play
for
because it said late. Because it said late November.
You know what though? Tyreek Evans always kills us.
He does.
Even when he's on the Kings,
Mhm.
he caused problems because he's 6'7", plays like a point guard.
He's killer. He's a good player.
Who else?
Oh, sorry. It's Memphis is in that division.
Memphis has been playing crappy.
Memphis is in that division. I mean, they still have 9 wins, but it's I don't know. Memphis, and then you have Dallas and San Antonio and Houston.
San Antonio's gonna San Antonio.
San Antonio's going to San Antonio.
They're not gonna be great at the very beginning of the season, and everyone's gonna write them off. All the young kids, and then everybody that's been watching the NBA for the last 10 years is gonna be like, "Hey, they do this every year. They go on their annual road trip at the end of the season and somehow get at least 3rd seed in the West."
Yeah. Thing.
And that's what they do. And pop rest a bunch of guys, and people complain about it, and fans are like, "I wanted to see Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, but I just saw him on the bench." And then I was like, "Would you rather cry about it or get a championship?"
Right.
But cry about it seems to be
But
popular.
I flew all the way from Argentina.
Well, then you should have done research and know you need an early season game.
All right. So Golden State, LA, Phoenix, Sacramento, and LA. The Clippers and the Lakers.
This division is sorry. Let's save the Clippers for last because that's the last game the Jazz played. We'll talk about that. And
Okay.
link them in that segue. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay. Warriors, great. We talked about them.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome.
Uh,
Phoenix.
no, they lost it, dude.
They're-
They lost their edge.
I think they had that one good season, and that was pretty much what I saw.
They lost their edge, dude. People are even talking about Hornacek going back to Iowa to coach,
No.
be a Hawkeye, because that's where he went to college, right?
Yeah.
People are a lot of the Phoenix fan base and the front office are very unimpressed with Hornacek.
I mean,
Like, this is why I'll say it's your job as a coach to put your players in a position to be successful. It's their job to execute.
Yeah.
And this is all on the players, this Phoenix thing. And the front office because they gave away the Morris twin.
They
I'm
And
very
and
mad.
that the other twin that remained has caused problems there.
yeah, because they gave away his brother for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
Yeah, and his brother's proving him you shouldn't have done did
Yeah.
it.
For nothing. Anyway.
Tyson Chandler's been injured
Yeah.
on that team. They're just lackluster. I mean, PJ Tucker was their best scorer yesterday, and I like PJ Tucker. To me, he's a role player. He's a lot like Trevor Booker, except for he's better on offense, right? But he's that tough type of player.
Yeah.
He's a starter, but would I start him over Favors? No. Would I start him over Griffin? No. Would I start him over Zebo? No. He's not that upper level, gonna get you 28 points a game type player like he did last game.
Yeah.
I just don't see him doing anything.
And as far as that division goes,
You missed an awesome touchdown.
Oh, that's okay. As far as that division goes, I probably went ooh anyway.
You'll do it when you see the replay.
The only thing that there's the Clippers and Golden State. And that's the only two teams in that division that are worth anything right now. As
the
of
Kings, we talked about them a little bit. That was a great catch.
now, that was a great catch. The Kings, he kind of pushed off though too, so
Yeah,
that was offensive pass interference.
there was more they allowed a lot of contact there. So
okay.
Kings, man, that's one we haven't talked about other than the Clippers in that division.
Okay, Kings.
Potential dumpster fire, and I liked them at the beginning. I thought they were going to actually do good. They picked up Bellinelli.
Yeah, no, the Kings did. They were smart. They kept all the people that they needed to keep,
They kept
and they picked up.
what's that guy? Caspi,
Mm-hmm. They kept him.
Omiri Caspi. I like him.
I'm glad that they kept him. They needed to.
They picked up a super defensive center in Willie Cauley-Stein,
Yeah.
which allowed Boogie to be more offensive minded, which
Mhm.
placated his arguments until Carl started being stupid.
And they have Rajon Rondo.
Oh, they picked up Rondo. Rondo been killing it too.
I just don't. It's one of those that's just like.
But here's the thing that I kind of have issue with. Or I should say, my concern is because Rondo's very vocal, very boisterous, he's a mean player.
Yeah.
Whereas if your team, I'm a lot like Rondo, and that's why people don't like to play with me. He'll call his own teammates out, right?
Yeah, it's really.
And it really rubbed when he was a Celtic. It really rubbed KG, Ray Allen, and Paul Pierce the wrong way because he's like, "Who is this little scrub calling us out?" Well, if you're gold bricking, he's gonna call you out for being lazy.
Yeah, and at that time they were kind of towards the end of their career anyway as well, and so they're just like, "Look, this guy doesn't know anything. He's not
He don't know nothing about getting old.
exactly." And then he got injured, and he knows all about being old now. But
I mean,
I don't know.
Ken, Boogie, and Rondo. For those who don't know, Boogie's is DeMarcus Cousins'
DeMarcus
nickname.
Cousins, and if you don't know about DeMarcus Cousins, and you're in sports and you listen to or watch basketball, you've kind of been living in a closet for a while.
DeMarcus Cousins has $1 billion skill set and a 10-cent psyche.
Oh yeah,
He has some issues. He really does.
he has a lot of issues.
And there's a lot of
Some.
people have issues, right? But I mean, his issues, he will wear them on his sleeve, and he don't give a crap.
He doesn't know how to keep those issues under control.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tell Coach Carl one of these days, I'll serve 15 to 20 just to prove a point. Come at me, bro. You know what I mean? Because he does not take criticism, even constructive criticism, very well. And that's why I say, can him and Rondo get along? Because Rondo was, if you're playing that garbage, Rondo's not like, oh, we'll get one next time. Don't worry. No, he'd be like, why'd you do that?
Yeah. Let's figure this out. Why are you playing like this?
You know. Then the third time you do something stupid, he's like, hey, moron.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
Which
some players do better like that when you call them out, and some players like Karolinko, you can't call out like that because he'll cry, like when Sloan called him out. And then he had one of the best playoff games of his life after. So I guess I just defeated my purpose.
So it worked. It did what it was supposed to, but
it broke him down hard.
It broke him down. It made him feel like garbage.
So I mean that's my only concern, because if those two can coexist, ooh.
Here's the thing. That team was stacked. I mean, they got Rudy Gay as well.
Yeah, Rudy Gay's good.
They got Rudy Gay. They got so it's just another one of those teams that's just like, how are they not playing well? That's like
they gave up Stauskas. Stauskas is a 76er now.
They traded. Didn't they trade Derek Williams?
Derek Williams is a Knick, who's killing it over there.
Yeah, which was really, really stupid. I don't know why.
He's awesome off the bench for them.
That was another reason when we were doing that whole NBA thing, draft thing, and trades and free agency thing. I was one of those things that like, why didn't you sign this guy already? You bunch of dummies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's one of those teams. It's just like Washington. Like, why are you not playing well?
No, they should be. And they remember before this year that started. Remember, I don't know if other people heard. They heard my biggest critique from them, especially when they had Jimmer. Everybody that was good on that team before they had Rondo. Rondo even pertains to it, but before they had Rondo, before they had Bellinelli, before they drafted Willie Cauley-Stein, my biggest thing with them was like, everybody that's good needs the ball.
Yeah.
Rudy Gay needed the ball. Stauskas needed the ball. Jimmer needed the ball, right? If you want to call him good or not, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I mean, his style of play, he needs the ball.
Yeah.
To be effective. Boogie needs the ball.
Yeah.
The only guy that was playing for them that didn't need the ball was their power forward. I can't remember if it was Chuck Hayes. I think that's who it was. He's the only guy that didn't require the ball. And so they got rid of that.
Yeah.
Rondo needs the ball, but to give to other people.
Yeah, he's the guy that's going to give you assists, not points.
Bellinelli is a smart player. He's not that great on defense, but his offense, he can spread the floor for you. He can make the right pass. Caspi, two guys that need the ball. Omiri Caspi is the only reason that DeMarcus Cousins didn't go and snap someone's neck. He's the ultimate teammate. Omiri Caspi is.
And maybe that's why they kept him around.
I guarantee that's why.
Oh, yeah. Keep him under control. I mean, know how to keep your teammates under control.
And that's what the job of a good teammate is. Not necessarily getting the ball in a good position, but it's like, hey man, I understand you're frustrated. I understand you're mad now. I understand you got all these emotions, and this guy's making me mad enough to want to shank him too. However, that's not the smart decision right now.
But listen.
See, what happened was, that's why you don't have to go to the press and say that I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry, but if they're making me say this, because if I don't say it, I'm going to be suspended.
I'm going to be suspended. I'm going to lose all of my money that I was going to get from all of my sponsorships because they're going to go away.
Do you think Omiri Caspi's like hanging out in DeMarcus Cousins' house, like trying to build a bunk bed? Think of all the activities.
Look at all this space.
Think of all the activities.
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. So, I mean, they have potential to make some noise, but I don't know if they will. Because Carl and Boogie do not get along. And if you have your superstar and you don't get along
with your coach,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's okay when your role player and coach don't get along because people don't really listen to the role player in the locker room most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
However, which they should though, because usually he knows what's up. But if you're like Darren Williams, that's why Coach Sloan resigned. He tried to discipline Williams because Williams went off the reservation, more than once, did some ad improvisation on some plays that he wasn't supposed to, And so he said, and then Darren Williams said, "Who are you? I don't gonna take this from you." Jerry Sloan said, "I'm your coach, son." And then he went to the ownership and was like, "Hey, I gotta discipline this guy, or else I'm gonna have a mutiny in a locker room."
Yeah.
Just like the Dolphins did.
Huh?
And the ownership was like, "No, you don't. He's our star player. Don't make him disgruntled." And then Sloan said, "Well, peace.
I'm out.
I'm out.
I don't have time for this anymore.
I'm too old. I got all these tractors to fix up and take care of." I like Jerry Sloan. Actually, he's still a very good basketball consultant. And with that, we'll transfer over to the Jazz. Did you watch that Clippers game?
I didn't watch the Clippers game.
Oh, I did.
I haven't. Anyway, this time, family, all that
Blake
stuff.
Griffin killed us.
He had 40 points, didn't he?
Yeah.
Saw
But
that.
more impressive than his 40 points was his, 3 misses.
Oh, he just wouldn't miss.
He was just lighting it up.
Okay.
Granted, there were a couple times where he carried and traveled and they didn't call it because it looked really flashy. Chris Paul did the same. Chris Paul does. He crossed Gobert up and everyone was like, is all over Sports Center. But I really didn't think it's anything special. If you're Chris Paul, who has top 3 best ball handling skills in the NBA right now as a point guard,
Mm-hmm.
if you can't cross up a 7-1 guy, then maybe you shouldn't be in the NBA at that point. It's like you should have been able to cross him up. But he stepped on his foot, which is easy to get tripped up. I mean, guys have done it to me.
Yeah.
You're sliding some way defensively, you're sliding laterally, they step on your foot. Either you choose to go down or roll an ankle.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So, I mean, I didn't really put too much stock into it. However, these Clippers are still the fake tough guy Clippers.
They always will be the fake tough guys Clippers. I mean, fake tough guys.
Oh my gosh, were they whining to the refs after every little thing? It was ridiculous.
That's because they were losing to a team that they didn't think they should be losing to.
Well, here's a question for you, devil's advocate. Because the Jazz will talk to the refs every once in a while and say, "Hey, man, my hands were up," or "What do I have to do next time?" or whatever.
Yeah.
You'll see Derek Favors talk to the refs, but he won't be yelling at them,
Yeah.
Except for there are a couple times when he's like, "Hey, that was a foul." But defensively is what I'm talking about in this case.
Okay.
They don't talk to him very much. The coach Quinn Snyder. Coach Quinn doesn't jaw at him very much, right? Hayward doesn't jaw at him.
That's because Coach Quinn doesn't have to he just has to look at him. They know.
He's like, "You want to see this look again?
You want to see? Yeah.
You want to see this look again? Except for it will be with me and a butcher knife under your bed." Or something creepy like that.
The boogeyman's underneath my bed.
You might hear some Hitchcock music and there'd be the shower room be really steamy and I'm in there. Or something. So my point is, usually the Jazz don't get these calls, right? Because they don't whine about it. They don't get on the ref's case. They don't say, "Hey, man," they don't, squeaky wheel gets fixed first, They don't do that. Is this the time when the refs ran up against another team that was always nagging, that finally they're like, "You know what? You ain't going to get those calls."
Maybe.
Because oh my gosh, dude. After every little thing, it was ridiculous. I mean, DeAndre Jordan grabbed the net to block one of our guys' shots.
Oh, nice.
Grabbed the net to stay up in the air longer, which is basket interference.
Yeah.
It's a turnover.
Uh-huh.
Can't do it. And he swatted the crap. It's like volleyball swat. It was one of the meanest swats I've ever seen. But I was just like, what? Did he? It looked like he levitated in the air for a second.
Yeah.
If you saw it real time and you saw his hand drifted back. And it's one of those times that Bowler Jack actually made a decent observation. He's like, "Hey, I think his hand was in the net." And Harpering's like, "Yeah, I think I saw that too." And they replayed it slow motion. And you see him just hanging on. I was like, come on, man.
No, he had some angels out there with him.
Yeah. Smack. No, seriously, though. And Gordon Hayward killed it. He really did.
I saw that he didn't do very well until the fourth quarter.
No, he did good.
Okay.
It was the Favors show in the first quarter.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Favors was killing it.
He did have 22 points in that game.
Favors, they couldn't stop. He just go down low on Blake Griffin. He's like, "Well, I'll just shoot over you. I don't care."
Yeah.
And then Blake Griffin's like, "Well, I'll just do some crazy turnaround shot, or I'll just outrun you and
Yeah, and
whatever.
so it was back and forth with them for a little bit.
For the first quarter, it was Griffin versus Favors,
Yeah.
and then Burks got in there. Hood is playing good.
Ronnie Hood.
He's what I like about him more is this season in general, not just last game. He's under control. He's doing that little search dribble, and then he's getting into the teeth of the defense, and they're used to him dishing it off and getting Favors a dunk, or dishing it off and getting somebody a layup.
Which will come into play later on in the season.
Yeah, so they're used to him doing that, and so they're all looking for that. So he fakes a pass, and then he's like almost foul line area. He's like, well, if you leave me open, I'll just shoot this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then swish it.
Mhm.
He's kind of the opposite of Burks, where Burks is like, I'm going to attack.
Yeah.
This is coming to the hoop. I'm doing some acrobatic thing, throwing the ball over my shoulder in some angle that you never even thought of.
And then it'll go in.
Some craziness.
He got that from me,
You do that.
That's how
You did do that over the shoulder.
That's how
I don't know
always-
how you make that.
That's how I've always played basketball, is like Alec Burks.
Except for you're not 6'6".
Except for that I'm not 6'6".
If you were, though.
If I was, though, I'd be playing NBA ball right now.
Oh, man, me too.
So, yeah.
I don't know right now. I would have been playing in my prime.
Yeah, I'd be one of those guys who's just like, I'll be Paul Pierce. No, I don't
I
mind
told
that
y'all. Then wheel you back in the wheelchair, then you get up and score 20 in the last quarter.
much.
Posing your injury.
Anyway,
No.
I don't know. That's just my thing. It'd be a lot easier to root for the Clippers if they quit being fake tough guys,
Yeah.
because they are exciting to watch. It is Lob City.
Another thing out there about the Clippers is the whole Doc Rivers, Austin Rivers thing. Is that an issue to you, or do you care about that? Because it's a big issue for a lot of people.
I don't care about that. You know why?
Why?
When Gordon Hayward was lighting everybody up, they put Austin Rivers on Gordon Hayward, and he went 0 for 3
Okay.
at the end of the game.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
So he's in there for defense.
Yeah.
And now if he were a starter, yeah, I have a problem. I'd be like, this is nepotism, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
It's a good old boy network, it's who you know. However, he's a rotation player. He doesn't play very much.
I just looked at it because I was thinking, because while you were talking there, I was looking that up to because I wasn't being very vocal there for a little bit, which sometimes I'm not.
I know, you let me bore everybody.
No, I just put my yeah. You
You
hear that a lot from me.
hear the Chicano thing, like the wife says, "Can I tell you a story?" And then you're just like reading your paper, not paying attention. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
See, that's the thing. Okay. Side note, here real quick, tangent. I really do that in real life with my wife. She hates it, but it's really funny.
No,
Because-
it's a Chicano thing. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, I say yeah, like
Sandlot.
for a whole conversation. Yeah. I'll even say yeah to my yes.
Yeah, I do that.
So,
Talk back to you.
but no, I just looked at that, and he's getting 20 minutes a game.
20 minutes a game, but like I said, JJ Redick wasn't doing anything good.
And
Jamal Crawford wasn't doing anything good, so he went to him after everyone else was not doing anything.
not busting his threes.
Now, I haven't watched every Clippers game. I mean, I can only take so much whining at the refs, you know.
Mm.
So, I mean, maybe he is getting more than that in the other games, but
Yeah.
as far as when he played against the Jazz the other night,
No, yeah, like I said, it was just 20. He's averaging 20 minutes a game for every game.
if he's
throughout the
locking their wing defender down,
season. Yeah, why not, right?
yeah. Although I have a hard time thinking he does that consistently.
Yeah. Oh man, that offensive line for Ohio State is killing that defensive line.
Yeah, dude.
That's something different you don't see. I mean, considering that Michigan's defense has been,
Because they got the next Julius Peppers.
well, yeah, no, they're letting Ohio just run the table on them. I mean, it's 21-10 right now in the third quarter. This is
man.
different.
This
Ooh.
means they're going to be in the top 5 again.
Yep, they're going to be in the Ohio State. Ohio State's going to sneak in. We didn't even talk about them sneaking in.
Because I was hoping they wouldn't.
I know. I was hoping Michigan was just going to
I'm
take care
sick
of
of
business.
seeing them in the playoffs when they don't deserve it. I mean, last year they did. Don't get me wrong. This year, though, I think there's 4 better teams than them.
When they lose to Clemson, or no, Alabama. I don't know, though. Didn't they run over Alabama last year?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they lose to Clemson in the when Clemson does to them what they did to Oregon in national championships this year, something's got to happen with the playoff system. Like get more teams in there.
Something's gonna happen. Oh, sorry. Step Brothers, man.
Going back to that. No,
Sorry.
they need to expand the playoffs to 8 teams.
I think they should. I mean, as long as your 8 teams are competitive, yeah. Why not?
Sorry for that tangent.
No, I mean, I just went on a long tangent with the refs, so you know.
So the Utah Jazz. We'll finish this up with the Utah Jazz, and then we'll call it good for the day. I mean, we've been talking about that Clippers game a lot.
Just because it was the last one.
But OKC is going to come out of that division as the top division leader in that division with the Utah Jazz, Portland Trail Blazers, and Denver
Nuggets. But I think Utah will come out number 2. They're number 2 right now.
No, they'll come out 6th or 5th.
No, as far as that division goes.
Oh no, they'll be 2.
They'll come out 2 in the division.
The Wolves started strong, but they're blah.
The Wolves started way strong, but that youngness.
The Denver's not ready yet.
Denver's not ready yet.
Which
Kenneth Faried is ready.
The Warriors are going to smack them around. This is what we were talking about.
They're playing the Kings tonight. You keep saying Denver, but it's the Kings they're playing tonight.
Kings. Tonight. Denver's playing somebody else. Anyway, the hope is that the Warriors remain perfect until next Monday,
which is just tonight, and then they don't play tomorrow. So
when they play Monday, and then the Jazz beat them
in Utah County, not Utah County,
Utah Town.
You
know what's funny though?
Salt Lake City.
I love going to the other fans, like the other teams' websites, and when the Jazz win, just looking at the comments. Like,
how did that happen?
You think a junior varsity team upset the state champions or something? Bunch of sophomores came in here and whooped them.
Yeah, it always reminds me when my little 12-year-olds beat a bunch of 18-year-olds in basketball for the longest time.
Oh, in church ball?
Church ball. Straight. My 12-year-olds beating the pants off of some 18-year-olds. They were 14-year-olds. 12. Most of them were 14, but I had some kids that were 18, but it's just funny. Just reminds me of that.
When we were younger, before high school, they had all of our young men that were older were playing, and the young men, we were the younger guys, the 12, 11 and 12s, we were better than these guys were, right? Even though they had a man body, we were better.
Yeah.
And so the next year, they were like, do you guys want to actually win games? The leaders came to us like, you guys actually want to win games, or do you guys want to play? I was like, I just want to play. And we won more games than our... It's like, how about them apples, sucker?
No, yeah. It just reminds me because all the coaches and all the refs, because refs aren't supposed to ref, their teams, their wards team here in church ball. So
but it happens all the time.
It happens all the time, and so
conflict of interest.
There was this one game that really.
Did you get kicked out?
Almost. Listen, so my little 14-year-olds were kicking these 18-year-old kids like they were mollywopping them bad, and the ref that was from that ward kept calling fouls on my boys, just because. And then I said something, hey, my guys would be like, hey, quit calling foul, they're fouling me, and he's like, you guys shut up because I'm the ref and just shut up. I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I called him out on it. He's like, you want to get kicked out of this game? I was like, no. If you want to keep reffing the way you're reffing, I'll get kicked out of this game. But it was just funny. But they still beat him by like 15 or 20. It was great.
Were you over 18 at this time?
I was like 19.
Oh man, if you're under 18, I would be like, you want to get kicked out of life? That would have been hilarious.
No, I was 19.
Yeah, so. Don't do that.
So,
no. You can chalk it up to young and stupid when you're under 18. When you get older, no.
But yeah, but still, this was one of the guys that I kind of looked up to, but then I lost all. No.
Over a game that really doesn't even matter.
Over a game that doesn't even matter, and I lost all faith in this.
At least keep your integrity. Come on.
Yeah, this boy, I lost all respect for this man.
I would too.
But anyway, I'll tell you who it was later in life.
I bet it's the same guy that did the same thing to us.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
I'd see. You never got? Have you ever got kicked out of a church ball game?
yeah. Well, actually, I left one time.
That's different.
'Cause I was gonna punch somebody in the face,
That's different.
so I left.
That's taking the high road. That's different, right? Have you ever got kicked out?
I've never gotten kicked out.
Have you ever fouled out?
I fouled out. That's very frustrating when you foul out.
Yeah. See, if I were to tell you, what if I told you I never got kicked out? You wouldn't believe me, would you?
I wouldn't believe you.
I never got kicked out. I fouled out more than once. Because I was like, oh, you want to know what a foul show? You foul.
Yeah.
You know. In fact, I think you were there with me one time when I wrapped Adam up.
Yeah.
I was like, you make it so that you don't hurt them, but you make it so they can't shoot that shot.
Yeah, that was funny.
I was like, that's how you do it.
But anyway, back to Utah Jazz. So the Utah Jazz here. Let's go over the Utah Jazz. They've had the hardest schedule so far this year. They've played 7 games on the road.
5 of them in a row.
5 of them were in a row. And
2 of them without Rudy.
2 of them are without Rudy, and they're 7-7. They're 500 right now.
If they can finish at 500 November, they're in good. But if they lose these next 2 games, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. But according to what we're saying, they're going to go. They're going to be above 700 by the end of November, or above 500 by the end of November. They're going to have 9 wins and 7 losses. According to what we've been talking about earlier throughout this whole.
Okay,
podcast.
that's what my heart says.
No. That's what's going to happen. They're going to beat.
That's what my heart says.
They're going to beat Golden State.
I hope so.
It's going to happen. And
I mean,
Stephon Curry's going to break his ankles, and he's going to be done for the season.
Oh, that would suck
Because
so bad.
it's happened before.
Now he's going to go back.
He's working himself too hard.
That's the problem, is he's playing too much, doing too much with his bionic ankles that aren't.
And it's
perfect.
Either exhaustion's going to come back to bite him.
Well, that's what happened. That's what happened with Exum.
Yeah.
He started fatiguing,
and
then he hurt himself, tweaked himself a little bit, and so to correct it, his body, he started running differently, started planting differently. Then he landed weird.
That autocorrect.
Yeah.
It ruined it for him because of that autocorrect.
If anyone that does any type of athletic activity, you don't even have to do very intense activity as far as the energy output is concerned. So I mean the energy waves. So like you could do what's endurance type running, right?
Mm.
If you tweak just a little something endurance running, you will run different.
You will.
And it's even more accentuated at an exponential level, actually, when the faster you decide to do those movements. So like a sprinter, you're even change your movement even more, and you're gonna mess yourself up even faster.
On the basketball court.
Oh, dude, you're always changing direction.
You're changing directions
Constantly.
every 10 seconds, if not less than, and like every 3 seconds. I'm gonna say.
Probably basketball and soccer are probably the 2 worst sports for if you jack yourself up and you're like, no, I can still play, and then you're trying to change directions. Because the frequency which you do so is astronomical.
In Utah right now, soccer is a big thing because of Real Salt Lake, and so
which they didn't live up to expectations this year.
No, but anyway, that's not the point I'm going for. Just because they've been in the playoffs every year, this year they didn't make it. Rec soccer and rec leagues and all that is happening a lot in Utah now for football, and so there's more injuries, and ACL injuries are have spiked. In high ankle sprains and ACLs have spiked. It's a pandemic. It really is in Utah. Just as pandemic, the board game is spiked in Utah because everyone loves to play it. But anyway,
spiked because everyone done wrecked their ankles. Not gonna stay inside,
so they have to stay inside. But no, really, it's a thing. And so
ACL,
kids are wrecking their ACLs and getting sprains a lot more now because of that. Because they're changing directions all the time and.
Well, the really, really bad MCL, ACL, PCL, all those CL injuries are non-contact injuries.
They are.
And tons of those happen in soccer.
Yeah.
That probably the majority happen in soccer or in practice on the football field.
Because you plant your foot and then you try and go somewhere else, but your knee's still there and you...
They still happen in basketball too.
Fall down.
But not as prevalent.
No.
And oh my gosh, those non-contact injuries, you'd hope that someone just blasts you off your feet and you'd rather have a concussion
Mm-hmm.
than that.
Yeah.
So I mean, repeatedly concussed, no.
So we'll go back to the Jazz. So another thing that people have noticed, or that I've noticed with the Jazz, is that they will have a bad game and then they'll come back and mollywop people.
I don't know what Coach Quinn does to them in practice, but it works.
I mean, it's you saw the first game of the season when they played Detroit, and then they went and mollywopped. Who'd they mollywop? Right after that, the second game of the year, they mollywopped somebody.
I can't remember. Here, let me see.
It was Detroit that beat them, and then they mollywopped. Darn it, who was it?
I want to say 76ers.
It was the 76ers. They mollywopped them, but that's not a good one. But anyway, and then they went and played, then they lost to OKC recently.
And they lost to Portland.
And they lost to Portland, and then they mollywopped. Who'd they mollywop after that?
Memphis.
They did. They beat up Memphis.
And then they killed someone else too.
Yeah, it's just a thing where they're gonna play a bad game and then they'll play a good game.
I think a lot of that too is younger guys, and not a lot of our games have been at home.
Not exactly.
This will be our 4th home game of the season.
I went to the home opener against Portland. That was bad. I'm going tonight again to see New Orleans, and I'm excited to see how much they've evolved and changed from 15 games in, because I know they're not the same team from game 4 as they were. I know they're not the same team as they are now as they were in game 4 at the season or home opener, or game 3, whatever it was, and just to see that how Neto's played. I mean, because
he killed it.
He's kind of come into a role where he had to, because Alec Burks in his back spasms, or Trey Burks in his back spasms, and so I'm excited to see how much he's grown too.
He did some beautiful moves offensively.
His passing is. I'm excited to see.
He passed so much and so crazy that when he would go up for the shots, that the other team wouldn't guard him, and so he had a wide open layup because they're like, he's just gonna pass. Oh no, he didn't.
He did not. He did not pass that ball.
Dang it.
Another thing that he learned from me.
You were down there, Brazil. See what you want to do is you want to make them think you're gonna pass it, but then not really, or pass it a lot and then make them think that you're not gonna pass it and then just go for the layup. But he makes his layups. I don't make my layups. It's one thing I don't ever make. Anyway. All right, here I'll tell you what they did.
Here's a stat. And just kidding.
Oh wait, I'm going to when it was our first game, the 28th.
Something like that.
Okay, lost to Detroit, won Philly, mollywopped Philly 99-71.
Yeah.
Mollywopped Indiana 97-76.
Yeah, that was another one.
Lost to Portland.
Yeah.
Mollywopped Denver. They brought the game back, but the score wasn't indicative of how bad we crushed them.
I thought we lost to Denver this year, but anyway, okay.
The Cleveland game I alluded to.
Yeah.
The Miami Heat that we lost by 1, we should have won that one too.
We should have won that one. That was a frustrating game as well.
Orlando, that's the game we got destroyed.
The Orlando game, we were tired that game.
We got destroyed, dude. It was bad.
They were fully rested, and that's a stupid excuse. But anyway,
then won Toronto 93-89, which that was a good game. That was very close.
What I saw was the first comeback with the fourth quarter win for.
Oh, I forgot Atlanta, where Millsap could have won it. Millsap could have won it for him.
Yeah, that's right.
And he missed that
he choked.
Open 12-foot jumper.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good game too.
I'm glad that we won that one.
Lost to Dallas.
We lost to Dallas.
The only 2 really bad losses.
Orlando
and OKC and Dallas. 3 bad ones.
3 bad ones.
With the Orlando one, you can kind of understand. Not trying to make excuse for them, but you can kind of understand because it was a 3rd game in
a row
in 4 days.
And then Orlando was coming off 3-day rest. So
yeah.
It was the exact opposite.
And then OKC destroyed us, and then we defeated LA Clippers. And then we play New Orleans tonight.
Which should be, I don't know. Like you said, Tyreek Evans plays
Look at this December lineup though. Oh, there's a lot of games in December, but look at this schedule.
Okay.
Orlando.
How many are home?
Orlando's at home.
Okay.
Indiana's at
They're
home.
gonna redemption, baby.
Indiana's at home.
Okay.
Sacktown at Sacktown.
Okay.
New York's at home.
Good.
At OKC.
Oh.
I mean, sorry. OKC at home.
Oh, okay.
At OKC the next game. That's why I got confused.
Oh, so back to back?
Back. It's not. It's 11th and 13th of December.
Oh, okay. So,
Home and then away.
Okay.
Home and away. Okay. And then at at San Antonio.
Oh dear.
At home against New Orleans.
Okay.
At home versus Denver.
Okay.
At home versus Suns.
That'll be a fun one.
At at home versus At home versus Suns is my last one, right?
Yeah.
At Golden State. That's a hard one. At Golden State.
Well, it all depends upon what happens tonight. I mean, Monday night.
At home versus Clippers.
Good.
At home versus Sixers.
Okay.
Philadelphia. At Minnesota.
Oh, that'll be a very good game.
At home versus Portland.
Well,
That's a lot more favorable than what we did
Yeah, no.
in November.
They should be able to have a winning record in December easily.
And then
Easily. If they don't, I'll be disappointed and I won't be
and
a fan.
then January looks pretty favorable as well.
Okay.
February.
If everyone can stay healthy. Man, Ohio State is tipping lots of balls. I think that's like the 4th tip ball I've seen. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's good. So, I mean,
But they're going to win.
this is why we play the game. They're not on paper, but like I said, that looks a lot better than our November when we were gone.
Every
2 weeks.
Yeah. They didn't even see family for a while. Skyping or whatever.
And that probably took a.
FaceTiming or whatever you guys do on your
I did a little
iPhones.
bit more research about Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
He always starts out slow. I started looking at that.
Yeah.
The first month and a half of the season is always slow.
Man, no, it takes some time.
And then his April, he kills it. But I'm like, dude, man, like I don't know what happened.
I'm just hoping that their defense can kind of hold on. I mean, they started out great, and now they kind of wavered. But here
We
and
were
there, they'll
best
have-
defense until we had those 3 games where we allowed a bunch of points.
Yeah, but still, who was it that they just? How many points did Clippers score? It wasn't very much.
No, it wasn't 100.
It was less than 100. It was like 91.
Do-do-do-do.
Not very much. And so it's good to see that them doing that as well.
It was 91
Yeah, holding
to
people.
102.
Yeah, holding people below 100 is always good. I mean,
But we usually don't score 100 either
we never score 100.
because we're starting to be how the old Spurs were grind it out, knockout game.
Games we win by 10 points, but it's 79 to 89 or whatever it is. And so I'm looking to see the Jazz, another great defensive performance tonight by the Jazz, and only letting them score in the 70s. And tonight against the Pelicans, and yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen because even though they're 7-7, I still have faith in them to grind it out and be a playoff team this year.
Oh yeah, they will.
And so that's what I have to say about the Jazz and what I have to say about everything else today.
This is the Forrest Gump. That's all I got to say about that,
And that's all I gotta say about that.
or something like that.
Something like that.
I don't know. I'm not
The
very
things.
good.
All the things.
All that. We'll just do a bunch of inside jokes right now.
All the small things. Truth care. Truth brings. Okay, I'm
We're
done.
all gonna die. What were you doing? He told me fire and I was running.
And thanks for listening to this edition of Two Guys in a Basement Talking Sports. Two Dudes in a Basement Talking Sports.
Happy times.